Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War stream. So today, of course, we got ourselves the start of the Vault event. It's the event that comes about once every month to Gems of War. For its duration, it has a increased chance of finding gnomes, as well as specifically finding vault keys from those gnomes. This weekend, I am going to be making it my goal to max out every remaining hero class in the game to level 100, so we don't need to worry about these ever again, which would be pretty nice. Currently working on Slayer as it's the most viable of the ones we haven't done. And then we'll probably do Oracle and then Diabolist. Obviously, this stream we're probably going to do Slayer. I'll probably do Slayer up to about 98 or so and then finish it out tonight. And that'll probably be the game plan. We'll have a redeem code and go from there. But yeah, main goal is to get as many vault keys as we can while also getting Slayer up. And we'll probably hand out our code at the first vault key that we get, which hopefully doesn't take too long. Sometimes you get lucky on them, sometimes you don't. But, hey, let me go get a vault key counter up too. Let's see, vault key. How many did we get last time? Let's see. So how many we got the last event? Oh, it was only 6? Gosh. We definitely got to go beat that number this time. I'll go bring that up. Actually, let me bring it all the way up so I don't forget where it is. There we go. Ah, okay. That'll be our vault key counter for how many we find for the duration of this weekend. It should be a little bit higher than normal. Definitely want to break at least a dozen if we can. But anyways, we're actually going to be in a little bit of a different location for once. I'm going to be in PvP, which obviously as of recently is what I've been doing. But as far as normally for Vault events, I'm generally not in PvP. Main reason for this is mostly because technically Explorer 2 or 3 is quicker. However, this is... Oh! Did we really just do that? Well, redeem code time. Well then. I didn't even get to finish talking yet. Well, we got our first vault key. Good job. Well, that's a good sign of possibly our luck today. 1 vault key. Anyways, what was I even saying? I got distracted with immediate vault key. Wow, okay. Well, I am gonna go do the vault key immediately as we have been. Watch, we'll get Mech Gnome immediately too. Could you imagine that much luck? It's the only drop I actually need. That and really high value loot. But, as far as new things that I don't have, the only thing I technically need is Mech Gnome. Could you imagine? Let's see. Nope. Oh, good drop, though. 20 gem key. 20 gem key to 5 gems, and I guess technically 2 diamonds. But definitely a pretty good drop. Anyways, as I was saying, well, let's go hand out redeem code. Maybe we'll have 2 redeem codes this stream, apparently. Let's see. Where's the redeem code section? Give me a moment. Was not expecting it this early. Pretty sure it's the one below this one, but I always like double check in just in case. Where's the code section? Yep, that one's used. That I already know. This one should be good. Yep. Okay, good. And here's the code then. Let me go put that over there. Put that there. Copy. And here it goes. Here's the redeem code already. Let's see. Let's get rid of that. There you guys go. There's a redeem code. Use on gemsofwar.com with the game code section. Your invite code is found in your settings menu. Redeem code's right over there in chat, and copy paste the random numbers and letters starting with OZ3. And it gives you the same reward as always: 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. And apparently we'll have another one later this stream. Because the stream will be going on for some amount of time. So yeah, we'll definitely hand out at least another one. We'll probably aim more towards 5 vault keys, possibly. Just because the stream will be going for quite some time. The amount of time it will take us to reach level 98, I believe, is about 6 or 7 hours. So we'll be streaming for a while. We'll be doing the same thing tomorrow for Oracle. But I might get some Oracle EXP in today. Because Oracle is the one I currently have actually the furthest away from level 100. Also, I am using controller this time around. We're going to be farming for long enough that it justifies using controller. For any of you that don't know, the quickest way to actually play the game is with mouse, keyboard, and controller simultaneously. And the main reason for that is there's some controller inputs that are legal inputs to the game that are quicker than anything mouse or keyboard can do. So it ends up working out pretty nice. The main thing it helps with is to get through the transition screens, and it also makes it so you don't have to click on the ability thing. So you don't have to click on whenever you want to cast out an ability. So instead of having to go and click here and then click cast, you can simply just click on it and then hit the button and then it automatically does it. Which works out pretty good. You can also do the same thing for troops that that target the first enemy, or that target a enemy. You can quick cast it and just spam it through it, and it'll automatically cast onto whatever the first enemy is. So hello everyone, hope all of you have been doing well. Hello Elite Gaming, hello Birdleaf, hello Marco, hello Isabel, hello Humberto, hello I already said that. Hello Lairs, hello Zelter, hello DeCrill, hello Marco. Hello, Curtis. Hello, Benny. And hello, everyone else. Welcome, welcome. Let's say someone could spam matches as quick as you are now. About how many keys per hour would you estimate? It's approximately 1 key every 90 minutes at this rate. Give or take a little bit. But what I've seen on average is about 1 every 90 minutes at a rate of 3 wins per minute. Though we're probably going to be slightly slower than that rate due to the fact that we're doing PvP. And what makes it slower is the repick rate. If you're doing Explorer, you can actually break 4 per minute. I mean, yeah, 4 per minute. But doing PvP is substantially slower and probably averages only 2.5 per minute. But the reason we're doing is it's more EXP, because even at 2.5 per minute, that's 5 EXP per minute. Whereas if we were doing Explorer, even if we could break 4 per minute, that's only 4 XP per minute rather than 5. So our gnome rate will be slightly lower, but our EXP rate for class will be slightly higher. So that's why we're doing this method. We might do some amount of normal Explorer. But for now, we're sticking with PvP. If nothing else, we'll also go get a pet gnome at some point. With the higher rate of gnomes, we should be able to get one consistently every single hour. Normally, you wouldn't be able to, but during a gnome event, one person can solo the constant gnomes. And currently, my guild doesn't have one, so we'll definitely need one. I saw we had a bunch earlier, but we don't currently have one now, unfortunately. What am I looking for? Back to PvP. Hello, Haley! Welcome. And hello, Analyst. Welcome as well. I'm not sure if we have enough damage to kill that, so I'm skipping it just in case. Did the devs ever nerf vault key rates from when they were first released? They did when they were first released after a few hours. Since then, no. But they were nerfed within the first few hours they came out. However, they have never been nerfed again. They've only been buffed a couple times. I don't recall them ever being nerfed since the initial nerf a few hours after release. And the main reason they were nerfed then was because the rate of gems, when it wasn't a vault event, was over 100 gems per hour from the vault keys. Like, the drop rate that they had for it was, like, better than the vault event when it wasn't even a vault event. When they first came out. Some kind of glitch with it. But that was very quickly fixed. If you're using lots of PvP, it helps to select a hero class with a Blood and Glory trait for the extra glory. Yes, you can end up doing that. You can also do the same with 10% extra XP, or even the 1 soul per turn. And they will help give you a little bit more resources. Yeah, the glory one would technically give you the overall best. That or 10% extra XP, depending on what you value more. Like, I'd probably value the XP more than I would value the 1 glory. Because we technically don't need glory for anything this late in the game. Or at least not enough glory that 1 would make a difference every single time. Whereas 10% extra XP could eventually get us an extra stat on hero. And while 10% will barely work anything towards that, at least it is working towards like a permanent goal. Which I guess glory technically is too, since you use those keys for upgrading kingdoms and such. But given that most of them are locked and won't be 20 anytime soon, doesn't exactly work out. Does 10% EXP work on hero class EXP or only for class? I mean, it only works on the big number. It does not work on class EXP. It only works on the big hero EXP number. It only works on this number, not the other one. It has no effect on your class EXP. The only thing it affects is the 10% gain towards your level. Let me go. Oh no, he gained some merch. There you go, dead. Yeah, it only affects this number. Normally I'd have like 90 something. But with 10% it goes higher. Wait, actually, are we using 10% right now? Can't remember if Slayer has it or not. What do I feel like it does? Let me double check. Does Slayer have 10%? Oh yeah, Firestorm. We could actually go for a +1 Glory right now. No, he doesn't have 10%, unfortunately. Aww. Oh, it has 1 soul per turn and Glory, though. I didn't even realize that. Is that the only class that has that combo? It's rather interesting. Yeah, it doesn't have 10%, but it has 1 soul into Glory. Interesting. I never noticed that. Yeah, we'll go with that. I don't think we really need Redstorm for anything. Let's go get our free Glory. While also getting free souls. That's convenient. It's only going to be like a couple hundred Glory and a couple hundred souls, but adds up. Hello, Chad. Welcome. Hello, Paul, as well. If anyone has any questions, it should be a great stream, as well as any time this weekend to do so. Because we are going to be around for a very, very long time in trying to grind these out. What would be the optimal hero class for a quick Rowan team in terms of armor buffing? You normally use Urskia Shield to Rowan. And then just use like Leprechaun to get it started or something. And you still just use it with Mirage Queen normally. That or you could go for like the, if you need to go for a really long battle, you could go for like Thrall into Leprechaun. Don't even go with the Mirage Queen. And just go for the super amount of mana. Throw the Leprechaun down immediately. Get your Urskia Shield down onto Rowan. And then just keep spamming Thrall until you win. And get all the casts you need. Is there a particular place to grind to get Vault Keys? The best locations are PvP level 1. Which is the quickest, or you know, casual PvP rank 1 with constant repicks. Basically what I'm doing now. This is the quickest way to get a pet gnome, but not the quickest way to get gnomes in general. The quickest way to get gnomes in general is to quick kill level 1, 2, or 3 Explorer with pretty much the exact same team we're using right now. However, hero weapon can be whatever you want. Doesn't matter what the hero weapon is. Gosh, we already got that done. But, yeah, what we're doing now is quickest pet gnome rate. And quickest overall gnome rate is doing exactly what we're doing, but in Explorer 1, 2, or 3, depending on how much damage you have. Normally 2 or 3. And the only difference between 2 or 3 is you just get ever so slightly more loot if you do 3, if you have the damage for it. I know, Glory Gnome dropping 1,000 Glory is actually the best drop of any gnome in the game, not counting Vault Key. Though it can even be better than a Vault Key drop depending on how bad the Vault Key is. It's the most consistently good drop that any gnome has, is 1,000 Glory. It's worth about 45 gems if you break it down into how many gem keys it's worth. Because every 10 Glory keys is worth about 1 gem key. And 1 gem key is worth about 9 gems. And 1,000 Glory is 50 Glory keys. So that comes out to basically 45 gems of value. Which is the highest value of any gnome drop that isn't a Vault Key. And I guess it pretty consistently, too. I believe they're all weighted evenly, so it's a 1 in 3 chance that you get it off a Glory Gnome. And even if you don't get it, its worst drop is worth 9 gem value. And its medium drop is worth, like, what, 24 or so? It's like somewhere in between. It's pretty good. Actually, no, it'd be 22 or 23, I mean. Let's just say 22. Yeah, well, its drops are pretty good, then. Excuse me. It basically has 9 gem value, 22 gem value, and 45 gem value as its drops, plus Vault Key, of course. Oh, speaking of Vault Key, the flash offer right now actually is good. It's tied at the pretty much the best flash offer they've ever offered. So if anyone does spend money on the game, it is worth considering. Oh gosh, why is it lagging? It's the only bad thing with using controller. It really loves to lag when you leave out of this menu. Which we need to do to go take tribute and stuff. Honestly, it's probably quicker just to exit out of the game. Oh, no, there it goes. Okay, what was I doing? Oh yeah, flash offer's not bad. It's tied at the best we've ever seen. It's 3 Vault Keys and 50 gems, which is pretty good value for $2. if you have been wanting to spend money to get slightly higher VIP or just to spend money in general, it is a pretty good deal. You can get 15 vault keys within seconds, so it would cost $10. We had a pretty good value. Anyways, as far as anything that you spend money on anyways, I won't be going for them though. I haven't ever bought in them a single time. But they're still good value nonetheless. Alright, let's go find ourselves some more opponents. Yeah, it's the flash offer that, if you're gonna get a flash offer, you almost always go for. The Vault Event flash offer. It's because it's so much better value than almost any other flash offer or offer in the entire game that they ever do. Though we're going to be grinding our 15 vault keys manually. Is there a team with a mixture of soul and key troops to put together that can be used in Vault Event? Is there a team with a mixture of soul and key troops to put together that can be used in Vault Events? I'm not sure what you mean by that question. Generally for, I'm still not sure what you mean by that question, Chad. Oh, so hello, Diomede, welcome. Is Cedric's best drop 250 gems? Yes and no. Not counting orbs, yes. Counting orbs, major purple, major blue, and smaller blue are all technically worth more. But if you ignore orbs, 250 gems is the best Cedric drop. We actually got it yesterday. Or not yesterday, the other day. What day did we get it on? We got it at some point this week when I opened up one of the vault keys. It was one of the ones from the Tower of Doom event, actually. We ended up getting it off of. But I think it was on Wednesday. But yeah, we actually got a 250 gem drop this week. It's not exceptionally rare. It's definitely one of the rarer drops, but you can still get it. I've gotten it about 5 times. It'd be a lot more if we open the 200 keys that we have laying around. It's going to be a long video whenever we finally open those 200 keys. Because we will be doing as a video whenever we do. But it's going to be really long because it's going to take us about 1 minute to kill 3 of them. So that's going to be pretty long to do all 200 of them once we get around to that. Hey, first level of the stream. The first of many. Still want to get another 11 levels. If not more. We're not maxing it this stream, but I might get one of the other hero classes up a bit this stream. We'll likely be maxing them to full completion during the nightly streams each time. And we will be doing a morning stream tomorrow, by the way. I know we haven't been as much recently, doing like the Saturday morning Gems of War streams. But this time we actually have something to do. So we'll be going and grinding out Vault Event during tomorrow morning as well. Which we'll be doing Ore Gold at that time. As well as maybe getting some into Diabolus. Because I want to have Diabolus set up so we could just do it on Sunday night. Without needing to grind it on the day prior. You missed a Doom crossbow. Will it appear in Soulforge? Yes. It appears during whatever kingdom it says it's from events. I completely forgot off the top of my head which one it's from. But it appears during Sinner Mirage event. Didn't we have a Sinner Mirage event recently? So it might be a while before it comes back around. However, Cinder Mirage does have one of the least amount of troops of any kingdom. So maybe it'll get one soon. Again, the next Cinder Mirage event, you'll be able to get Doomed Crossbow. Oh yeah, Vespeni looked up when the month is. It's September. Sometime in September. Be a next Cinder Mirage event. It'll be back. Do you have a times table as when you will start Hollow Knight? I don't know. I haven't really figured out yet because we'll probably be done with Bug Fables next week. I'm probably finishing that out on Wednesday, I think, of next week. I think I'm gonna go finish that out. So I'm not sure what our next game will end up being after that, as far as side games. And I'll also be streaming Animal Crossing soon again. Just to get like a 1 or 2 streams in before the end of the month. Kind of just like as a wrap up for the creatures that we still need. Kind of just a summary. Plus then I get to show all the holiday items. All the what's it called? All the wedding items. I do actually have the full set. Because I've been doing the little daily thingy for it. But I have the full wedding set. I haven't really used it for anything, though. I really like the organ. Because it makes a really cool sound and you can actually sustain the sound. Which is something I don't think you can do with most of the other instruments in the game. There we go, wow. Well, so I'm really curious what Animal Crossing will announce as their next update. Because they haven't announced anything for after this month. And they definitely will be very, very soon. Like in the next week or two. Weird question for you about the PvP points. Do you know why you start with some amount of points after the weekly reset rather than starting from 0? I'm not sure what this exact reasoning is behind that. Everyone starts with at minimum 500 something. What exactly determines how many points you have from like 500 to 600 something? I'm not 100% certain on. However, everyone starts with some amount above 500 going into the next event. And it's normally somewhere ever so slightly above 500 to the low 600s. What determines the exact number, I have not the slightest clue. Yeah, the current offer is pretty good. You could buy 5 times, which is 15 vault keys and 250 gems for $10. Relative to other offers in the game, it's pretty good value. And by pretty good value, I mean like the highest value they almost ever give. So if you're someone who spends money on the game, it's definitely worth considering. Is Assassin best class for skull spam? Normally no. Not because it's bad per se, but because it's too luck based. Assassin has a ridiculously high amount of luck based mechanics. I think it has 4 or 5 different percents that it can roll. It has skull dodge, it has instant kill chance on skull, it has instant kill chance when it gets a kill, and it has is all of them? I think it has a death mark that I can place on one of its trees. So it has, I believe, the highest amount of percent chances of any hero class in the entire game. This makes it potentially really good in a battle. The main reason it's almost never used, though, is it's extremely high in consistency. What's the best? Well, it depends on the situation. There's a lot of skull spammers that all have like a unique kind of angle. The absolute best I'd probably say overall is... I don't know, it's kind of hard to pin down. Like, I can say what each one's kind of better for. Like, Sun Spirit tends to be one of the better triple damage on burning because of its perpetual red, which synergizes into a lot of teams. Dragon Guard has the best triple damage to burning while simultaneously having score reduction. Hierophant has the best chance when doing a triple damage burning skull spam team. Slayer has automatic and rage if you're using it with like a Zugoff instant kill skull spam team, which ends up making it pretty decent even though I don't have it maxed. There's another one kind of like Hierophant where I feel like it's pretty underused. Slayer, like max Slayer. May need to mess around with it, some with Zugoff and stuff once we get it. Other than that, what other good ones are there? Titan is good for all-around skull spam while also being just really, really safe of an option. And Warlock has the highest base attack of any hero class in the game if you combine all of the attack gains that it has. Or, you know, it generally has like the highest overall attack of any hero class due to how it progresses. But, yeah, there's a lot of options. Oh, and Archer has 50% instant kill, and Slayer, and Assassin has 10% instant kill. And oddly enough, Assassin's 10% instant kill is actually better in most instances. Mostly because it hits the last enemy rather than the first enemy. So you don't end up wasting a lot of your damage. Even though it's 5% less of a chance. It's, when it triggers, it's more effective. Compared to what Archer does. Because Archer's biggest problem is it overkills whatever it's hitting. More often than not. Yeah, Dragon Guard's Razor does become increasingly better over time. Because as more defense comes into the game, having 20% added armor into Skull becomes increasingly better as time goes on. Because right now it could potentially be about 20 additional damage when you're using Seasons. It's a little under 20% additional damage. And eventually it will be over 20 additional damage. That's assuming you don't get hit. However, it has barrier at start of battle, so you're generally not getting hit. At least in quick battles anyways. When doing Vault Event, the most important part is always winning, so gnomes don't escape. Second priority is speed. Yep, pretty much. You want to make sure you... that tends to be the same way with Val Ravens too. Your main goal is both priority is to kill out the thing that can escape, which is the gnome or Val Raven, and second priority is win quick. And third priority is technically to actually win, though in something like this you wouldn't need to worry about that. But in something like, let's say, Tower of Doom, obviously, your objective would also be to make sure you actually win. Because you can go too quick sometimes and make mistakes that can cause you to lose. However, in something like Quick Kill Explorer, Quick Kill PvP, you're not really going to lose these battles. Like, you could try losing these and you wouldn't even be able to lose because you'd accidentally kill them with skulls. Like, if I tried to lose against this battle, it'd be almost impossible for me to lose, even if I do everything I can to try to lose to that. Is it better to use the key team with Thief or Titan? Thief. Thief is actually the strongest thing to use Skeleton Key with if you're going to run a Skeleton Key team. Especially if you're running the 1 Cedric Skeleton Key team. With a 2 Cedric one, you're a little bit more flexible with what you can use. But if you're using a 1 Cedric Skeleton Key team, you should always use Thief Hero class with it. Especially if you have it maxed. Because once maxed, you also have that 7% free kill every time you get a kill. But the main thing that makes it viable is its final trait. Because it helps pinch them down so you actually get them into kill range so you get an extra turn. Which helps with the speed a lot. Because it makes it so you can consistently get a extra turn every single time you cast Skeleton Key. Even if they're a little bit outside of your range, you can just bring them into range. I'll throw that down. Well, so far we got one Vault Key right at the beginning, but haven't seen one since. That sounds about what a Vault event normally is. The elusive Vault Keys. That's only a matter of time. We're still technically way ahead of the drop rate. Given that we literally got one as soon as we started. Because on average, as I mentioned earlier, it's about one Vault Key every 90 minutes. And I am doing a technically slightly slower method for getting Vault Keys. Because we're sacrificing some gnome rate for better class XP. Did I see your question? Oh, sorry, Chad. I didn't see your question. Let's see. Is it better to use What, your most recent one? I answered that one. It's the Fear class. Because you get to pinch them down into kill range. And also because if you have it maxed, it's a 7% instant kill. Every kill. Excuse me. Every single time you get a kill. But, you mostly use it for the, 7 damage that it does every single extra turn you do, or 8, whatever it was. Hey, Pet Gnome, we've been eating that. Because that allows you to bring them into kill range if they're not already. With a Skeleton Key. Or 4 Skeleton Keys, so you get the extra turn off of it. Oh, there we got a pet, but it's a pet I don't need, so we're just gonna ignore it. Goodbye, pets. Get all the food we need, and I do not need another copy of that pet. Actually, the previous pet I seen, we actually already got that. So now, we'll keep getting repeat pets. Stop giving us repeats. Okay, if you use Skeleton Key and Cedric and Dragon Soul with another, would it make a difference, or does it make sense to do vault events with waste souls and keys? You wouldn't really need both. At that point, well, what are you trying to use it on? You wouldn't use Skeleton Key ever with like a Dragon Soul or something like that. Like, there's no game mode where you would need to do that. If you're doing it for PvP, you would commit completely to Key. But Key isn't even good for quick killing if you're trying to do quick gnome event. You would just stick entirely to things that can instant kill in one shot. Because anything that doesn't will drastically lower your rate. Even Key, which does it in double hit, will be quite a bit slower. And even Dragon Soul will be, because it can't one-shot. But if you're going to, you're better off doing the Dragon Soul team. Because even though it's a little bit slower, you'd still gain a good soul rate while doing it. Because you can do Explore 1 and double kill with Dragon Soul, you know, after double cast. And while it's a bit slower than other methods, you're gaining souls. Double casting like that's much better than double casting with Skeleton Key. Hey, 12 epic ingots. I wish I still needed those. Those used to be valuable to me. Now they mean nothing. Unless they add a sync to the game eventually. Come on, add those syncs. Oh, so we're not getting any syncs next patch, by the way. Well, kind of. There's one thing that's technically somewhat a sync. But no one's actually going to put gems into it. It's one of the reasons why I've been saying you don't actually need to save gems. Well, you know, I always say you need to save some amount of gems. But the thing, like, no one's going to actually be spending gems on the thing. One of the things that's in next patch. Hello, Animus. Welcome. Yeah, everything's been going pretty well. We got a vault key literally within seconds of starting to stream, so that was cool. And currently we're trying to level up hero classes. Trying to do Slayer right now. Trying to get to 98 or 99 for later today. And then tonight we'll go and finish it out. And if we get there too quick, we'll just go and do a little bit of Oracle and Dabless XP. They're not revamping anything in Treasure Hunt or Arena until later this year. Assuming they're still sticking to that. What they're going to do to change it, I have not the slightest clue. Oh, how's your work been today, Isabel? I mean, not Isabel, or Bill Warhammer? Got an idea to what team to build aside from the thing? Well, you said you wanted to do soul farming, right? You'd probably just build around Leprechaun Dragon Soul then. Would be fine. And then just double cast onto Explore 1. Or if you really wanted to max out your soul rate, triple cast on Explore 2. But the only problem with that is it would reduce your gnome rate. Any soul farming team will reduce your gnome rate. There's no soul farming team that can instant kill. The closest you can get to that is use a hero class that gains 1 soul every turn. Kind of like we're using now, which will give you slightly more souls. But this is very, very different from actually soul farming. Because obviously we got almost no souls, only 17 souls for that battle. But aside from running like any soul team you do is going to be a slower rate for gnomes. There's just no way around it. But in the team that we're doing now, we're technically getting 1 extra glory and a few extra souls every battle. While it doesn't make that big a difference, it adds up. Plus, you have to keep in mind, even if you're not soul farming during a gnome event, you can still find soul gnomes. And soul gnomes drop as many as 5,000 souls for a kill. Yeah, I haven't gotten a single Volkey since the very first Volkey that we got within seconds. Are we going to get another mythic weapon? Probably at some point. They've been really hesitant to add it for whatever reason. We are getting new weapons next patch, though. As we already saw in the little spoiler, the thingy thing. I'll explain more about them when I can. They're pretty straightforward what they are. Five Volkeys, nice. Yeah, I didn't start farming until the stream, so we're not even an hour in yet. Wow, someone has Wild Queen at that low of a rating? Interesting. Not sure what level they are, but they look like they're around level 200 or something. Maybe even lower. Maybe even close to like 100 or something. That is really lucky. Wild Queen's not too insanely good that early in the game, though. That's definitely a great mythic. Like, relative to other mythics that you could get, it's not as good in an early game. That's definitely not a bad mythic to have. Because some mythics just have absurdly overpowered boost ratios in early game. Phoenicia being one of them, actually. Because she gets 1 additional damage per red on the board. And burning enemy. As well as doubling that if you have Red Storm. So her default damage could be like 20 something higher. Full AoE. And that in early game is absurdly high. Getting like 20 to 30 extra damage just for simply having a burn and Red Storm option on your team. Or not even a burn, you just need Red Storm. Yes, you could be using Bullyno for extra gold this week. However, most teams with a 4th troop like that will be ever so slightly slower. Because there isn't a single thing I could replace on this team to put Bullyno in. If I replace out Mirage Queen, Rowan could go slower. And if I replace out Hero, well, we can't farm Hero XP. And obviously we can't replace Rowan, and we can't replace out Leprechaun. So I guess if we were to replace anything, theoretically Leprechaun could be replaced. However, you're literally just getting rid of a gold option for a gold option. And while Leprechaun doesn't gain as much gold, it gains more gold in the sense that it gives you speed, which translates to gold. But I normally, if you're during a gnome event, I normally would not advise using the event troop. When it's not a gnome event, it's probably worth it. But during a gnome event, I would say the extra speed is much more valuable. Yeah, you can use any weapon in first slot. I always use that weird one that everyone always asks me about because most people don't bother leveling Dervish hero class because you get it from 250 wins on Dervish. But you use literally any weapon. You probably notice I haven't cast it a single time, nor will I really need to. I mostly only have it for cleanup. But as long as it doesn't block Rowan mana, you could use literally anything in first slot here. Doesn't really matter. I normally just use something that can clean up the other troops in case they get like a revive or, you know, anything that is annoying. But normally you don't need the mechanic. But if you do go something there, make sure it doesn't block Rowan, and ideally some kind of damage. Any thoughts about the new zoo-like troop on Terran's World? What do you mean by new Zoogoth troop? You mean like actual rarity of Zoogoth? Or do you mean the new Mythic that's coming out next month? Because if you mean the new Mythic that's coming out next month, it's going to be one of the best troops in the entire game. I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to by next Zoogoth-like troop. I wouldn't really consider that like Zoogoth, so I'm not sure if that's the one you mean. Enrage Curandera? I don't think I've looked at it yet. I need to go look at it later. I wonder if it spoils something about next patch. What do I grab here? Take that for now. Should you use Orb of Ascension on Rowan to make her Mythic? Well, you should only do it on Legends to make them Mythic, assuming you're using a small blue. Is it worth it? I feel like there's better uses for it. But if you're planning on using Rowan a lot, I'd probably say yeah. So I feel like it's better to save it for Zoogoth or for other key options. But, I don't know. She gains about, I believe, 5 damage? Because I believe she gains 2 armor and 1 magic from getting that extra level. Maybe a little bit more than that. So it's not like a gigantic amount of difference. But she does gain some amount of benefit. I haven't been keeping track how many gnomes we've found so far. I'm pretty sure we've had around 15 to 20. I normally just keep track of vault keys because if I keep track of every single gnome, it slows it down too much. Speaking of gnomes, Also, I don't feel like they've been bunching up too much this time around. They seem to be kind of separated evenly for once. I don't feel like we're getting any bunches of gnomes or any dry periods. At least today so far, from my experience. Which is rare because they almost feel like they always dry up and then go into clumps. But today they feel kind of even. Is there a good glory troop? What do you mean by that? Almost every troop in the game is a glory troop. Because anything rare and above is a glory troop. Hello, Remingford. Welcome. Oh, another level for our class. What does that bring us to? 89? I believe it's 89. 89 or 90. Somewhere's around there. Just notice you're not farming an Explorer. Yes, that is correct. It's slower doing what we're doing now. But we get quicker class XP rate. Which is why we're doing this. Because our other main focus this weekend is to max every hero class in the game. We're currently at 31 out of 34 hero classes maxed. And we're currently working on Slayer. And then we'll have 32 out of 34. Another useless pet gnome. Please drop Vault Key. Also, one interesting thing about pet gnome. If you happen to get a Vault Key from his drop, you'll actually still get his normal drop as well. He's the only gnome in the game where you get both his normal drop and the Vault Key for whenever you get it. It's very rare that you get a Vault Key on him, though it's the same chance of any gnome. Whenever that does happen, you actually still get the normal loot as well. Like, you still get the pet activated, and you still get the white pet food. What do you use Phoenicia team on Explore 5 for Vault events? If you can always one-shot everything? Yeah, it could be worth it. It's ever so slightly slower than using Rowan on Explore 2 or 3. But it's definitely worth it. The only reason why it's sometimes slower is you sometimes don't get full mana out of a single Leprechaun cast, which can slow you down ever so slightly. But it's a really, really minuscule difference. It's definitely quicker than what we're doing now. But the main reason why we're doing what we're doing now is this is more class XP. It's about 50% more class XP or so. And on a weekend that we're trying to max out all the classes. That's what we're focusing on here. Also, this is the highest rate of pet gnome. We already got like 2 or 3 pet gnomes this hour. And it hasn't even been an hour yet. It's gonna feel weird when we have every hero class max. Because what are we gonna grind? Until next patch. Let's see. We'll take that for now. Is it possible to get a Vault Key in a vault? Yes. The chance is very low. I think they deliberately make it lower in vaults. But yes, it is possible to get a Vault Key in a Vault Key. We actually did it a week or 2 ago. For I think the 3rd time ever. But yes, it is possible to find a Vault Key in a Vault Key. Though very, very rare. So hello, Sir Wolf. Welcome. So why do that instead of just taking mana? Also, I feel like we keep getting this Wild Queen team so often. I don't mind. It's a nice weak team. Come on, second Volky, where are you? Come out of hiding. Oh, also, I never did answer the question, whoever was asked it earlier. I just realized that. But as far as when we're going to do Hollow Knight, I need to go double check when Silk Song is officially coming out. I think we're going to do it to the few weeks prior to Silk Song coming out. Maybe like a week or two prior. I'm not sure how long the game is. I'll double check how long the game is. And go from there. And maybe add some percent because I haven't played platformers in a while. Puzzles and platformers normally stump me a bit. Hey, second Volky. Nice. Just because I feel like the answer isn't always obvious for them. Definitely bad at puzzles sometimes. I feel like I'm like average at puzzles, but when people are watching me, I feel like pressured while doing a puzzle. Which makes it even worse. Yeah, Silk Song is coming out. Let me double check. When is Silk Song coming out? I wanted to play through the entirety of Hollow Knight before Silk Song. Where's Silk Song? Silk Song release dates. Do we have an official release date? Didn't they already mention? Silk Song, Silk Song, Silk Song. Does Silk Song have a release date? Wait, has it not gotten a release date? Hold up. Oh yeah, it doesn't have a determined release date yet, does it? Still to be determined. Or to be announced, I mean. Soon TM. I thought it had an approximate date. Apparently not. Soon TM. I guess the coronavirus might have played a little bit of a role in that. I could have sworn it was supposed to come in like another month or two, but it might have got pushed back because of the virus. Oh yeah, Hollow Knight's getting a sequel. It was announced about a year ago. When it's releasing, we don't currently know though. They appear at the exact same rate everywhere that they actually appear in. The only difference in appear rate is how quickly you can win. The only benefit PvP has compared to Explore is PvP has pet gnomes, whereas Explore does not have pet gnomes. However, PvP is slower. The only reason I'm doing PvP is it's 2 XP per battle rather than 1, and I'm trying to farm class XP, which makes this quicker class XP by about 50%. Even though the rate of battles is slower, the fact that we're getting 2 XP per battle makes it quicker in that regard. But we are getting slightly less gnomes. And also, getting a lot of pet gnomes is technically a bad thing when you already have a pet gnome active. It actually reduces your loot that you get overall from gnomes. Because you're blocking a lot of the loot with useless pet gnomes. But obviously, getting a pet gnome when you have no pet gnome active is really good for your guild. Especially if it's a pet you actually need and not keep doing the same ones over and over again. I wish they would make it so a pet gnome event would automatically be a pet that the person who activates the pet gnome still needs. That would make a lot of sense, but like many things, it's something they probably won't ever do because it makes too much sense. If when a gnome is activated, it checks to see what gnomes the person still needs, and then does one of those. So it may or may not be ones that the guild mates also still need. But it would definitely be at least one who the person who activates it would still need. Which would give incentive even more so to activating it yourself. because you would guarantee have a chance at that point to get one that you need. That's not how it currently works, but I wish it did. That and what we were mentioning earlier, I wish you would get like a pet gnome bait, or at least a chance of a pet gnome bait, whenever you activate a pet gnome, when there's already a pet gnome activated. Either a guarantee bait or at least a % chance for a bait. Of at least 25% chance. Ordo Gnome has a higher chance to be in the Event Key Kingdom. I wish they would just add the Event Kingdom pets to the Soulforge instead. So that you can at least buy up the pets when it's the event. Like, for example, this week is Wild Plains. So why can't we not buy in the Soulforge something like the Taurus pet? The little Minotaur thing. I already have it maxed, but it'd still be nice to have that for every single Kingdom event week. Because currently there are 0 gnomes in Soulforge. It'd be very convenient if they at minimum had whatever ones were the event week. Or one of each color, either or. Either one random one per color or whatever the event week is. And if they had a new one, they could just simply keep it on the Wednesday event. But any already existing ones could be through the Soulforge. It would also be a way for them to sync resources on holiday pets. Because almost no one has all the holiday pets maxed. And if they had them in Soulforge, people would sync a lot of whatever resources they require in order to get them to max. Because the alternative is way too pricey on gems. What would be a fair price to craft pets? I'd probably say double how much a food currently costs. Is probably, I would say about how much would be fair. So how much does a food normally cost right now? Oh no, gosh, I forgot. Going out of this menu is super laggy. Honestly, it's probably quicker just doing that. Oh yeah, I hit, oops. I forgot I didn't activate the switch one. There we go. If I want to leave that menu, it is probably quicker just restarting the game. Because of how laggy it's going to be trying to get back to the main menu. But, yeah, I believe double the cost of how much a pet food is fair. If they were to ever add it. And a pet food currently costs, 1,000 souls and 125 of the color. So like 2,000 souls, 250 of the color, and maybe some other resource of some kind. Would probably be fair. Food is extremely overpriced in Soulforge, though. But double that for a pet seems fair. Is there something special you must do to be able to refresh a low team? Yes, you generally want to have a super low rating. Would help in getting low teams. If you've already gotten 1.9k or have a high rating, it's probably better just to stick with Explore. Explore is better anyways if you're looking just for gnomes. But, you do need to have a really low rating to keep getting low enemies like this. At least this consistently anyways. And currently we're at rank 15 all the way with, rank 14 with 607 points. All the way at 47,309. And this actually helps us get, easier battles. Doesn't guarantee that you get easier battles, but it makes it more likely that you can find them. Because one of the things that it determines to buy is what your rating is and what bracket thingy you're in. Like tier 14, tier 1, tier 2, tier 5, whatever it is. Normally people are in tier 1 because it's so easy and quick to reach it. It takes like an hour or less. However, if you're in something like tier 15, 14, 13, you find some really, really weak enemies normally. Or at least weaker on average. Gosh, stop giving us pet gnomes. I almost feel like going to normal explore whenever we have a pet active just so we don't keep getting these. Because all we're getting is useless white pet food from them. Unless we get lucky with a Volky. They're almost as bad as jewel gnomes. Honestly, they're probably worse if you already have a pet active. Oh, come on. That's like our 6th pet gnome kill in an hour. Hey, Glory Gnome. Hey, we found a cluster. It's like our 3rd or 4th gnome within like a few minutes. Come on, 1,000 Glory or Volky. Ah, 200. Yeah, that's still good though. Even its worst drop isn't horrible. Its worst drop is better than like 80% of other gnomes. Come on! That's our 3rd pet gnome in 2 minutes. The struggle. Please give us Volky. I want to see a Volky with a pet food drop. It's possible. We haven't gotten one yet this stream. Hey, another level. What are we even at right now for Slayer? I feel like we're making good progress. We are at the level of 90. Nice. Very nice. And my goal for the stream is to reach like 98, 99 or so. And then we get 100 tonight. And even once we reach 98, 99, I'm probably going to start working towards the Obelisk or Oracle slightly on the stream. Probably the Obelisk. Because we need Diabolus to be 98 or 99 going into Sunday. So I can finish on Sunday night quickly. We'll go for that one. But you don't want to go too low with it either. And if you do find you're finding nothing in your current range, try increasing or decreasing your rating. So if you're around, well, basically you want to change the tier that you're in. So if you're in tier 15, you want to go to tier 14. If you're in tier 14, you want to go to tier 13 or 15, normally down to 15. But if you're finding you're still getting weak enemy or strong enemies, try changing what tier you're in. Also, if that doesn't work, also try changing your defense team. Defense team doesn't immediately change your drop table, but over the course of several dozen battles, I believe it starts to. Yeah, Mythics can be annoying to get sometimes. Being in a decent guild that just has a lot of progress on it as far as tasks and events tends to help out the most. But the Vault event that's going on right now is a pretty good way as well. During the stream so far, we've probably gotten about, like, what, 21 gem keys, like around 30 gems, some diamonds. Like, all these things help you get drops. Though most of that was from a lucky Vault key that we got 20 gem keys on. Oh, that reminds me, I never did use the second Vault key, did I? I forgot, we're using all of our Vault keys instantly. I should have a second one that I haven't used yet. Oh no, the lag. Let's see, how long will it take? I'll take a sip and see if it's done by then, otherwise I'm force quitting it. There we go. Also, that flash offer is good, but I'm not buying it. Let's see. Also, this was the pet we activated. Still got 25 minutes. I don't need it, though. Plus, you can't get pet gnome drops, or you can't get gnome drops while doing that. Volkey. How many Volkeys do we have? 201. Yeah, I never opened this other Volkey. Let's see what we got. First Volkey dropped us 20 gems. Or gem keys, I mean. Let's see what we get from this one. Come on, Mecha Gnome. Or anything of value. Ah, that's a bad drop. We got 60,000 gold. Which is almost like a normal gnome drop. That's 70,000 gold and 200 souls. Pretty bad key, but that's a little bit of gold, I guess. Gold has really low gem value, though. But yeah, the gem value of gold is relatively low. I believe every 20,000 is worth about 1 gem in the current state of the game. So something like 70,000 gold drop, or like the 30 or 60,000 that we just got from Cedric, that specifically is only worth about 3 gems in value. I guess theoretically you could consider a little bit more, but if you break down the actual gem rate of gold keys, it's 1 gem every 20,000 gold or so. And that's mainly because you have a 1% chance to gain 1.1 to 2 gems every single time. And that basically comes out to 1 gem being 20,000. Though you are getting other resources along the way. Hey, an event key, nice. 13.5 gem value. I still need to cover the gem value video. I'm waiting until next patch for reasons that are, actually, next patch... I don't know, we could theoretically cover it before next patch. But there are still aspects of next patch I still kind of want to wait for. Let's see, this first stream you've been able to watch, it's 1:40 a.m. Oh gosh, and you're only level 80. Oh yeah, you're still pretty early in the game. Quite a few people don't even get their first mythic until like 500, or even some people don't get until 1,000. Like just many players that can go all the way to level 1,000 and have 0 mythic still. They can take a while sometimes. Your main priority right now should be, if you haven't already, unlock every single kingdom and try doing all of their quest lines. That should be your first priority right off the bat. And then from there, you want to work towards getting all the kingdom leveled. So you want to get them all leveled to about level 3 and then start getting them to level 10. Starting with magic kingdoms and then doing all the other kingdoms. And once you start getting kingdoms to level 10, particularly having all of them to level 10 through the gold leveling system, it should be quite a bit easier at that point, or even slightly prior to then, to try to find yourself a better guild if you're not already committed to the one you're in. Because guild determines a lot of the loot that you end up getting over the course of a week for free, and this ends up helping a lot in getting mythics and just resources in general within the game, and as far as overall general progression. I feel like bare minimum these days is you want to try to be in a guild that gets all the basic tasks done. Not all the epic tasks, but at least all like the normal basic tasks that are prior to that, because that ends up helping out a lot due to the amount of free gems and other resources that you get from it. I've heard a lot of people reach 1,000 plus without getting a mythic. I've even heard people reach 1,100 with no mythics before. I have gotten a mythic before level 100 on every account I've ever had, though. And my Switch account had almost half the mythics in the game before it reached 1,000, I think. But it wasn't the best guild in the game at the time, so that wasn't too realistic compared to normal progression. Because we knew exactly what we were doing and we were in best guild at the time when the platform launched. Yeah, Switch version's still really young. It's only 1 year and 2 months old. Compared to all the other versions, which are 5 year plus, almost 6 years. There we go. Almost level 91 as well. No, the reason why grinding will be quicker in version 5.0 is something I cannot mention. There is a really, really big reason why grinding will be quicker. And it's not because of any troop that's being added. Is it good or bad? It's change. It isn't necessarily good or bad. It is simply change. It's both good and bad depending on what you're looking at it as. Will dragons be viable in 5.0? No. Dragons won't be viable until they get half mana start. And even once they get half mana start, they're probably still not going to be viable. Ooh, 4 gem keys, nice. But no, dragons need at minimum 50% mana start before they can even think about being viable. Again. Because they used to be viable in the past. What would it take for dwarves to be viable? They're somewhat viable now, kind of. But, I don't know, they're really weird in that they're super tanky in a way. At least resistance-wise. And have pretty good HP and everything. They're not really quick. But there's some team compositions with them that are good at least not losing, if nothing else. I just don't feel like they're ever going to be ultra quick to the point where they'll beat out meta teams. They're never going to be, I think, the worst type in the game anymore, which they used to be at one point. But I don't think any amount of change will ever make them one of the better types. Yeah, I'm not sure why people are struggling, though. We might just need to raise the requirement to 1.5 million to kick anyone who can't do it, then. We still have one person who we recruited who has never done more than the minimum. And we also had one person who was away for quite amount of time. Which is one of the reasons why. As well. But I've been considering it for a while. We might officially do it starting into next patch. Because people will be playing more as of next patch. For multiple reasons. So yeah, I think officially as of next patch, I think we'll increase the requirement to 1.5 million. Since people are likely going to be playing more anyways. And whoever can't do it will just be kicked. And that'll just be the minimum. And if people just do 1.5 million, then that'll be fine. For right now, people just doing 1 million kind of doesn't work. Because you need everyone doing about 1.5, a little over 1.5 million each to get all tasks done. And so many people doing 1 million every week and never doing more is makes it harder to get epic tasks done. People will be playing more. It's not really implemented in a bad way for next patch. Like, it's really lenient as to when you can do the playing more. Can't really mention how, but it is super, super lenient. It's not like Guild Wars where you have to do it like almost every day. Yeah, 1.572. I normally just say it as 1.5. Because realistically, some amount of people are going to do more than 1.5. Thank you, Chad. When will 5.0 release? It is very likely to be early July. Like, really early July. No official date has been given, though. But, like, the first week or two of July is very likely. Dragon something types are Daemon, Centaur, Undead, Divine, Fey, Mystic, Knight, Beast. Which of these don't have half mana start? Daemon. Did Centaur end up getting it? I can't remember if Centaur got it or not. I believe it's Daemon, Centaur, Undead, Fey, Mystic, and that's it. The only ones that have it are Divine, which has 40%, Knight, and Beast. Those are, I believe, the only three that have it. I forget, did we ever get 50% Centaur? I believe we have not. Otherwise, Ward Breaker would be a lot more viable. And even then, it still has pretty high mana cost. Because even if it gets a quick first cast, its other casts are just so expensive. No, I don't think any of the grinding next patch is too much. Mostly because of how they have it set up. Like, if you're playing 10 to 20 hours a week or more, you probably won't find it to be too much. Does your Ward Breaker do more damage than your ssaszix? It depends on boost ratio. On if it would do more or not. Depends entirely on boost ratio. Will the extra grind give you stuff you already need to grind for, like gold? It'll definitely give you things. It'll give you things. What those things are, I can't say. But it will give you things. Shiny things. Not so shiny things. Mostly things that already exist as well. Oh, so hello, Bushka. Welcome. What exactly pet activates? The moment you kill the pet gnome or when you win the battle after killing pet gnome? After the battle. So the pet gnome does not trigger until the moment you finish the end screen. So the exact moment that a pet gnome would trigger is not when you kill it, but when the battle actually ends. So like right here was when it determined it. Like right when it loads in the victory screen, like ever so slightly before then, is the exact moment when the pet gnome would check. And if you currently do not have a gnome active, it would then trigger it. So for example, if, let's say that's a pet gnome. We just killed it, but we can wait out this battle until our previous pet gnome is expired. And then once we kill it out, right here it would activate the pet gnome then. And we can hold it all the way until the thing has expired. But yeah, it triggers based on when the battle ends, not when you kill the gnome. And even if you kill the gnome prior to the timer, as long as the battle ends after the timer, it will activate a pet gnome. We gotta skip that just in case. So it's only level 93, I probably could have taken it. That's actually a really high rating for 93. You must have like everything fully traded or something. Should have probably taken it. Oh no, he better not have revive. He shouldn't. It's only 810 score. I mean 812. There's almost no way he has traits on it. Yeah. He doesn't even have stats. Looks like he's level like what? 12, yeah. There we go. Poor level 12. We're harassing all the low levels. Luckily it's casual PvP so they can't even see that we're attacking them. Hey, double level 12. Do we know the math of what orbs drop? I know approximate data in the past. I'm not sure what the current definitive data mine data is. But I know that I believe it was green is 35%, orange 30%, purple 20%, and blue 15%. I believe the percentages set are 100% total. But I believe that's the approximation. Exact, you'd have to find someone who's data mined the game recently. But last I recall, it's 35 for growth, 30 for orange, 20 for purple, and 15 for blue. Let's see, is that even the full percent? I believe it is. 35%, 70. Yeah, that's 100%. Well, that was based on old data, so I have no clue if that's still current. Good morning, Michael Mora. Welcome. Coffee, anyone? No, I've just been drinking caffeinated sparkling water. Or should I say caffeinated sparkling tea. I've actually, I don't know, I don't care for coffee personally. I also try to stay away from caffeine for the most part, but I didn't get as much sleep last night, so I need a little bit of caffeine. I always feel like Thursdays going into Fridays, I always get the worst sleep of any time during the week. I'm not sure why that always is, but it just tends to be. Maybe because I'm so used to school and having like a billion tests on Fridays. Then I used to wake up like ultra early on Fridays, because I would normally have college on, I believe it was Mondays and Thursdays, if I'm not mistaken. So I'd have all my work get all done before Thursday, and then I'd wake up like ultra early to do flea marketing on Friday normally. I guess Friday, Saturday, Sunday are the best days for flea marketing, particularly Saturday and Sunday, especially Sunday. But you normally get a different crowd on like Friday, Saturday compared to Sunday, depending on what you're trying to sell. Also, gosh, it just started downpouring all of a sudden. I don't hear any lightning though, so hopefully electricity won't go out. There's some pretty bad thunderstorms lately. And the problem is if it goes down for even like a second, it'll cut off the stream. Because normally it doesn't go like all the way down, but it might have like a little whatever that flash thing is called, where it goes down for like a second or two and then comes right back on. All electricity. I forget, there's a proper term for that, isn't there? Like a something surge. Gosh, it's raining hard. I came out of absolutely nowhere. It's actually pretty sunny earlier. It's like a really sunny day, and now it's like, oh, rain. Mana surge. Power surge, that's the term. Or I think that's the one I'm thinking of. But I made it all the way to 91. I'm probably almost 92 at this point. Progress. But I'll probably hand out a redeem code at 5 vault keys or level 96 or so. Whichever happens first. And we'll probably keep streaming till 98 or 99. Watch out, probably go a little bit further than that. Because I want to get some Diabolus XP in. Because I need to make sure we get Diabolus to 98 as well before Sunday. Or somewhere around there so we could finish out Sunday night. No problem, J-Dog. Yeah, if in doubt, Mang is almost always the answer. Mang would like Titan Hero class with Barrier on Brown. It's really good for upscaling, and everyone owns it pretty much, since you get it at such a low level range. You can have it by level 150, both Titan level 40 as well as Mang. It can be obtained pretty quickly, and it works for pretty much any battle where you need to upscale your stats. And there's not as many options when you're in early to mid game to be able to do that. But Mang is probably the most accessible option in the game for that. And scales through the entire game as well. It can still work without potions. You wouldn't use it in PvP more often than not. But on any game mode where the enemy has much higher stats than you, as long as you keep taking browns for barriers, you should be fine, because all your stats that you need are your attack, and you get that entirely from tearing their armor. And since armor is so close to their HP, normally whatever their armor is ratioed enough that it ends up working out. Hey, we got another pet. Though, if I'm not mistaken, I already have Ping Long maxed. So let me go shut off the stream again. Or not the stream, but the game. Close the program, force exit, start it back up. It's always annoying how laggy it gets when you do that. It is quite literally quicker just to restart it than it is to wait for the lag. Okay, I'm pretty sure we already have all the copies, but I wanted to double check. Yep. 2 pets in a row that I don't need. And we're going to see this more often than not, because there's more pets I don't need than I do need at this point. No, I haven't gotten my last gnome yet. I still haven't found the Mecha Gnome. Still on the hunt for Mecha Gnome. Hopefully we'll get it this weekend. Hello, Ricardo. Welcome. Also, hello, Cookie, if I didn't already say hi. Welcome as well. How many hours to get Sunspear from 90 to 100? Grinding Explorer. Well, Explorer is around 180 to 200 XP per hour. I normally calculate it as 180. And what's 95 times 10 is 950. So what's 950 divided by 180? That should be about how long? 950 divided by 180 comes out to... it should be about 5.25 hours. So like 5 hours and 15 minutes or so, approximately. Give or take like half an hour. But yeah, a little over 5 hours is about how long it should take you. Doing Explore only. Assuming you're winning at 3 wins per minute on average. If you're using this team, it's actually quicker. It's possible to win 4 per minute. You have to be really focused the entire time. And Explore, that is. In PvP, it's closer to like 2.5 per minute, just because of the repicks and everything. However, 2.5 wins is still 5 XP per hour rather than 3 to 4. I mean, per minute, I mean. The loading screens on Explorer take like 3 times longer than a fight. Very true. Yeah, it's kind of funny how quick kill is in this game, where the loading screen actually does legitimately take longer than the fight itself. It is pretty hilarious. Especially if it doesn't get it within the first loading bar. Oh no, it lived. I should be taking that Queen Titania team. It's a level 94. There's almost no way they have enough stats to survive one shot at level 94. The only reason the score is probably so high is that almost everything on his team is probably traded somehow. Oh, I should have went for that. Oh no, the Jewel Gnome. Come on, give us Volky. You have nothing else I want other than Volky. Nope. Hey, we got the Fen win. I actually have a strong team, says my defend right now. Mostly because I don't really care what my defend team is. So whatever it gets changed to, or whatever I accidentally move it to, or if I was testing something and forget to ever change it back. I think I showed this for Monday video for some reason. Or maybe last Monday's video. I showed it for one Monday video for something. Because I wanted to test against a Red Guild War team. And, oh yeah, I wanted to test the troop that we got this week against the Red Guild War team. That's why that's there. Wait, did I ever even do that for the video? I forget if I even did. I think I set it up to do so, but I might not have actually done it for the video. That's a slight fail. I can't even remember if I have or did or didn't. I know I meant to. Let's see. Move that over. Kill that up. What's the advantage of using Cedric in Volt event again? There is none. There's no advantage in using Cedric in Volt event. His 100% gold gain does not apply to gold that you get from gnomes. So there is no advantage specifically to using him. If anything, he's actually slower because almost every team built around Cedric is slower than the quickest quick kill teams. Yeah, while they don't necessarily overlap perfectly, anything that you use for Tower of Doom, you theoretically, except for a weapon, unless you're using the same color weapon, but theoretically, almost anything you use for Tower of Doom, you could technically do offensively for the PvP offensive color day. However, the biggest difference is most teams built for Tower of Doom tend to be able to upskill, whereas the ones that you do for PvP might not necessarily, or for Guild Wars, might not necessarily need to upscale. When you're still progressing through the game, I guess it would still work either way, since most enemies would actually have higher stats than you. But as you get deeper into the game, you normally build a little bit differently than how you would for Tower of Doom, for Guild Wars. You could theoretically use the same team for both. Quick question. Is there a reason to hoard vault keys for 5.0? No. There is no change to vault keys as of next patch that I'm aware of. So you don't need to hoard them for that. I'm just hoarding them in case they ever do rework vault keys. However, that is not happening next patch, to my understanding. I don't believe vault keys are changing in any way, shape, or form. If anything, there's actually theoretically a way to get more vault keys next patch. What do we grab here? We'll take that for now. Keep getting this guy with the dragon thing, the dragon rider. Luckily he doesn't have that traded, otherwise dragon rider is super annoying in this game mode. Because it has a 100% chance to revive. But without a trait, it has a 0%. As it should be. Oh, currently they are selling vault keys right now. It's actually one of the better offers that they have. 3 vault keys for and 50 gems for $2. I personally won't be buying it. We'll be grinding all of ours manually. But it's tied at pretty much the best offer they've ever done for flash offer things. And it's much better than the 1 vault key 100 gem one that they do. The 3 vault key one is much better value. Because if you compare the difference between them, you're basically getting 2 vault keys for 25 gems each. Which is definitely worth it. Or at least value-wise. Because while the 1 vault key 100 gem one for $2 isn't that bad, it's not as good as the one that's currently available. When you're farming souls, what explore difficulty should you do? The highest that you can one-shot. Oh, you mean souls? I mean, if you're using Dragon Soul, explore 2 so that you can cast 3 times. And the reason you want to cast 3 times is to get max soul capacity. But if you're using a Dragon Soul farming team, you do explore 2. If you're doing a Sacrificial Priest soul farming team, you do explore 1. Assuming you even have enough damage to kill explore 1. Because it requires quite a bit. Yeah, I'm hoping we get better luck this vault event. So far, we've been doing okay. Let's see, how much time have we grinded in so far? So, yeah, we're at about 1 vault key per hour, which is technically above average, so we're doing fine right now. And I haven't been keeping track of gnomes, but we've been getting a pretty average to slightly above average gnome rate. You can still keep hero. If you want to use hero, do it with a purple or a red storm. Normally purple, but technically either or would work. That way you can still gain hero class XP while also getting additional souls. So something like Dragon Soul, 2 Necromancies, and a hero with purple or red storm on a hero class that you want to level. And that covers about 1/3 the hero classes in the game or so. The ones that have either purple or red storm. All of which you can level and still win quickly with that team. So should you drop hero and get... Oh, never mind, I already answered that. Let's see. Throw that down. Which kingdom has units with lowest stats for easiest battle with Sacrificial Priest team? I'm not sure what the statistically lowest is. I know Zolkiri has a lot of really low battles. Or, you know, a lot of really low troops. But the problem with Zolkiri is it has a few really high ones, like Giant Spider and Dolkafer, which have really high durability, even though the kingdom is extremely high, or extremely low durability. There are a few that have really high durability, which kind of ruins it a bit. I'm not sure what mathematically is the lowest in the game. And you also have to make sure it doesn't have 10% or 20% bonus on the current week. I know Zolkiri is pretty close to lowest, but I'm not sure if it actually is. You'd have to do a lot of math to determine that. I'm not sure anyone has bothered doing that yet. No, Starting Kingdom has pretty high durability. Mostly because of Fortress Gate. And because of Ogre. Both of them have relatively high HP and armor value. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, Dwarven Gate has... or not Dwarven Gate, the Fortress Gate has, I believe, one of the highest, if not the highest durability in the entire game. I know it's top 3. I can't remember if it's the absolute highest or not, but I'm pretty sure it actually is literally the highest durability troop in the game. Like, higher than literally any other troop in the entire game. Which makes Broken Spire a pretty bad location. But yeah, last I recall is Zolkiri. The only problem is there's a few that's outliers that make it not as good. But it might be the lowest durability in the game. Mostly because it has a lot of really high attack troops. And generally high attack troops have low durability. Ideally, Whitehelm should always be your home kingdom. The main reason for this is the best tribute in the game relative to how much resources they give is glory. And Whitehelm is pure glory. So the only thing that home kingdom determines is 2 times to your tribute. And because Whitehelm has the best tribute in the game, theoretically the only home kingdom you would ever really need to have is Whitehelm. The only exception to this is if you're starting to get kingdoms upgraded to various star levels. Technically other kingdoms could be higher than your current Whitehelm upgradedness and end up giving you technically more loot. However, generally speaking, Whitehelm is always the best home kingdom in the entire game. That's why if you look at almost anyone's profile, you will see that they have Whitehelm set. However, since it's such a minuscule amount of loot, some people just do it for whatever background they like the most. Because it determines what animation goes in the background of your profile, and also determines what background is in your profile, with the animation and the backgrounds. And while both of those are cosmetic, Tribute makes such a small difference that some people just set it for the cosmeticness of it. And because literally everyone has Whitehelm set, just to be different. But if you're looking just from purely a resource perspective, like 90% of the time, if not more, you would set to Whitehelm. It doesn't make that big of a difference, but over the course of a week, you could probably get a few dozen extra glory. Just for simply having that set compared to anything else. Theoretically, with how high my percents are, I probably get an additional, probably almost 100 glory a day, actually. Just from having Whitehelm set. Maybe a little bit less than that. Depends how many times I take tribute. There we go, nice. So what level are we at right now? We are at level 93, nice. Oh, actually we just recently got to 93 as well. We're getting there. So close yet so far. It's gonna feel weird once we have every hero class maxed. I might not know what to do for like the first week or two. It's going to feel really weird. Especially before next patch actually gets here. Once we're already finished. Because normally my go-to grind thing is like, oh yeah, let's go get some hero class XP. Well, I guess my next go-to grind thing will be, okay, let's go do some quick kill explore. I might get into 20% chasing on explore. Because theoretically, if you're looking to maximize on Nishas, which honestly is probably our main thing we'd want to do after maxing every hero class, we'd likely want to go with quick kill chasing. So I might do Zugoff for that then. There are 6 kingdoms you want to avoid with Zugoff though. Well, I guess they don't matter too much, as long as you make sure you don't specifically target them. How many levels have we gotten so far to stream? What level did we start at? I actually forget. I think it was 86 if I'm not mistaken. So we've gotten 7 levels so far. We got another 6 to 7 to go. So we're about halfway there then, right now. As far as how much Slayer XP I want to get for now. And then we'll finish the rest tonight. And then with whatever spare time we have, we throw into Diabolist. You just got your first key. Nice. Hopefully we find our 3rd vault key soon. But we're still technically above drop rate, so all's good for now. The only reason we are is because we got so ridiculously lucky with vault key immediately, right at the start of stream. Which ended up helping out a lot, of course, towards that. If anyone still has any questions or anything you want me to go over, do let me know. I'll definitely be around plenty the next day or two. Because we'll be doing similar tomorrow. We'll be starting up our stream in the morning, afternoon or so. And then grinding until we completely max out a hero class, pretty much. Stopping just ever so slightly before so we can save it for the nightly stream as far as the actual final level. I'm gonna take this team. This is the weak one, right? Yeah, this is the weak level 94. Let's see if we can actually kill this. Why is this team rating so high? I think it might be because it's all legends. And the fact that the hero's fully traded. But no, it's still one-shottable. So whenever we see that team, that one low-level Queen of Tanya team is actually killable. If we ever see it around. Doesn't matter where you go to grind for vault keys. The only thing that matters is how quickly you can win. The only other exception to that is if you're looking for pet gnomes. What we're doing right now is the best rate for pet gnomes. Ooh, 1,000 glory, nice. I think that's our first 1,000 glory actually of this vault grind. But ideally, if you want to get the absolute best rate of gnomes, you want to quick kill explore 2 or 3 of explore with basically the exact team we're doing now. That's the quickest rate of gnomes in the game. However, I'm doing it specifically in PvP, which is slower, but it gives you more class XP and it gives you pet gnomes. And getting pet gnomes is both a good thing and a bad thing. Getting a pet gnome when you already have a pet gnome activated is bad, but obviously getting a pet gnome when you don't have a pet gnome activated is good. We already handed out a redeem code, but we will be handing out another one. Probably around level 96 or 97 or so. But we already handed out one right at the beginning of the stream. I said we'd hand one out when we got a vault key. Then we got a vault key within like a minute. It's pretty funny. I'm pretty sure that code should already be dead. But we did have pretty low viewer base since it kind of just started stream. Normally people don't rolling in until about half an hour in. Once the notification has actually been out for a while. I had a feeling it would be dead already, yeah. So we made sure to get a level right at the end of the other stream the other day, last night. And we're already halfway to our next level. Oh no, pet gnome. Stop giving it to us unless we get a Volkey from it. Of course we can just go to explore to stop getting it still. Aww. So much useless white pet food. Should one craft more than one Dragon Soul? No. There is no team in the entire game that runs more than one Dragon Soul. There is never a point in using more than one. That's the weak Queen Titania team. That keeps throwing me off because its rating is so high. But it is one-shottable. At my current damage range, pretty much any person below level 200 we can one-shot. Regardless of what number it says their team score is. Just because realistically any person below that level does not have enough kingdom upgrades to survive a hit from how much Rowan can currently do for us. The only problem with slightly higher ratings as their level gets a bit higher is they're more likely to be traded. And if they're traded, they could have a trait that triggers on death. And if they have a trait that triggers on death, that slows it down by multiple seconds. Yeah, normal gnome does have a 100 soul drop, which is pretty annoying. Gotten it definitely at least a couple times this stream. I've been keeping track of them, but yeah, they get in the way. Especially in Volkies, they really get in the way. I hate that it doesn't let you quick press that. Controller input actually doesn't work when it goes from gray button to green button. You have to click on it if you're still on that screen. Otherwise, you have to click off and then do it. It's kind of weird how that is. Controller's kind of janky on PC version. There's quite a few glitches, many of which they likely will not be fixing because they technically don't have full controller support for the game. There's at least like a dozen weird controller glitches in the game. Most of which are just visual or time loss or gain even glitches. But yeah, it's kind of weird. What's even funnier is on most console versions, those glitches don't even exist. Just on the PC version. And I guess technically on this the mobile version too, if it actually lets you connect your controller. Actually, does it even let you do that? I'm not even sure. Is it even possible to use controller for the mobile version? If you connect it via Bluetooth? I've never actually tried. Because then you can play kind of like a Nintendo Switch, where you have touchscreen plus controller input. Which is the second quickest way to play the game. Controller plus touchscreen. Actually, it might even be quickest, technically. Depends how good you are at clicking with your fingers. Anything that would be slower is typing. But when you're grinding, you're not typing at all. Oh, it could have taken that one. Whoops. Well, luckily we got another easy one right after. It's a higher level, but lower team score. Come on, Volky Gnome. Or something with like 4 gem keys or something. Something valuable, go. Hey, gem key. Well, that's better than nothing. 9 gem value right there. A gem key to go towards our new Mythic coming out next month. Also, next month's Mythic, still very strong. They haven't nerfed it yet. Looks like it has a lot of potential to be one of the strongest Mythics in the game. Oh gosh, Pet Gnome. We already have a billion of you active. I think this is like our dozenth Pet Gnome now. And he still hasn't dropped us a Volky. No, Beatrix, we do not want to fight you. He's probably using like the most meta team in the entire game. Oh no, we didn't get full mana from that. That's very problematic. There we go. That fixed some. Hey, level 94 hero class. Nice. Progress. We're getting there. Yeah, we'll probably hand out code at, I think that'll be our game plan then. We'll hand out next code at 96 hero class. We'll then grind till 98. And then we'll throw a little bit of XP into Diabolus. Then tonight we'll do 100 Slayer, finishing it out. As well as a little bit more into Diabolist. And then tomorrow we do all of Oracle. In a similar fashion. And then Sunday night we finish out Dablist, whatever we haven't finished already. And then we will have every clear class maxed by Sunday night. While hopefully also having a billion Volkies. Hopefully over 10, if not over a dozen. And hopefully we'll find Mech Gnome. You know you want to drop a Volky that has Mech Gnome in it or 1,000 Glory. Go. Volky 1,000 Glory. 500. Well, better than 200 at least. Is 500 class XP for 500 gems worth it? It's extremely expensive. However, if you are at the point where you have like over 10,000 gems and you want to save time, it could theoretically be considered worth it. Especially since you're most likely going to make leaderboard if you buy even just one of those packs. Assuming it's not a new hero class, which of course we don't get new hero classes anymore. So I guess technically all events now are applicable for that. But is it worth it? Not really. It's pretty expensive. I wouldn't really advise it until Ultra Endgame. Like around the point where you'd start spending gems into Delves is around the point where you might consider spending gems into hero class XP. It saves time, but it's pretty expensive since you're quite literally paying over 1 XP or 1 gem per XP because the packs prior to then give a rate that is less than 1 gem per XP. But once you finally get to the final pack, it gives you 1-to-1. You can definitely save quite a bit of time. Because even with the quickest rates in the game, 500 XP is going to take you roughly 2.5 to 3 hours. Probably closer to 3 hours on average. It's like 2 to 3 hours or so 200 for 500 XP. So if that exchange rate is worth it to you, then it could be. For most people, that probably wouldn't be worth it. But if you just wanted to get it up in a pinch, it works pretty well for that. The only time I've ever done it was for new hero classes so we could show videos for it quicker. But it actually leveled up and everything. But normally it's considered not worth it, because even right now we're gaining way over 200 XP per hour. And with that rate, you could theoretically say that we're gaining 200 gems per hour in a sense, and that we're saving that many gems from not having to spend it on the packs. So it comes out to much better value generally just to grind it out manually. Though of course it takes more time that way. If you don't have Zugoff, how much gems would you value one power orb at? I would probably say a power orb is around 5,000 to 10,000 gems. It's kind of hard to put an exact value on. But yes, it is somewhere in the ballpark of 5,000 to 10,000 gems. Because I would personally value a major blue at 1,000. Though theoretically, if you upscale it to how much a power orb is worth, I guess technically a major blue is actually closer to a value of 2,000 gems, in a way. Because you need 3 of them, and the other ones are worth almost nothing that you use as components. So yeah, maybe I should start valuing a major blue closer to 2,000 gems. Mostly because 3 of them are required for a power, and a power is at minimum 5,000. With how leaderboards currently are, they go even higher than that sometimes, like 7,000, 8,000. But let's say this: if they ever added an offer to the game where you could literally just instant buy a power orb for 10,000, I think people would actually go for it. You know, people who have way more gems than they know what to do with. I don't think they would ever do that, though. That's what the leaderboards are for. Leaderboards do it naturally without putting an actual number to it. Yeah, PC Mobile has it the absolute worst. If you want to get a power orb by getting leaderboard, it is the most expensive to do on PC Mobile. Cheapest to do on Nintendo Switch. Obviously, you'd want to do in-game gems. You wouldn't actually want to buy gems for it. That would be ultra expensive to try to get it that way. Especially since they normally have offers where you can buy a power orb for 50 bucks occasionally. Or even sometimes slightly cheaper, I think. Didn't they have one for 35 at one point? I can't remember. I think they did for, like, the holiday thingy. But if you want to, like, money power orbs, they eventually have them for 50 bucks with some other loot. The most realistic way that most people get power orbs is they convert all their minor blues to major blues. They convert all their major blues into powers. And they just simply hold the oranges and the greens, which are normally plentiful enough. They just have them naturally. I have refresh for gold rather than for gems, because we're doing casual PvP, not normal PvP. Normal PvP refreshes for 1 gem, but casual PvP refreshes for 50 gold. But it's because we're doing casual. You can see right here, ranked is 1 gem, but casual PvP is 50 gold. If you're farming like what we're doing right now, you always do it in casual. Because obviously repicking like this is ultra expensive if you do it in normal PvP. Plus, it would ruin the whole meta thing that we're going for here. Because we actually gain a benefit from having really low rating. And if we were doing it as PvP, our rating would go up. Which we would actually make it so we'd get harder battles. Which would make this method slower. Because one nice thing about casual PvP is a lot of these battles, it's based on a lot of factors. But one of the bigger factors is what rating you currently have. And you don't actually gain rating in casual PvP. So it doesn't matter how many battles we do, we'll still keep getting easy battles. Which allows this method to go quicker. Come on, gnomes, give us good drops. All he gave us was 2 miners. You swapped the Mirage for extra 400 gold. You can do that if you want. It'd make it less consistent that you get full mana instantly on Rowan. However, 1 Leprechaun generally will almost fill up a Rowan. But you could definitely do that if you wanted to try going for a little bit more gold. It might slow you down though occasionally. And my goal is max EXP rate for classes. That's higher priority than slightly higher gold. For at least for me right now anyways. Did they change PvP at all in 5.0? Indirectly. Not directly though. No changes directly being done to PvP. However, the meta will change slightly. So in that way, yes. But no actual changes being done to PvP yet. They were supposed to do it at the end of last year and never did. I don't believe they're going to be doing it at the end of this year. They never said they would. And it looks like they're probably going to be doing Vault and Arena rework at the end of this year. So I'm not sure when they're doing a PvP rework. Because they said they'd do it at the end of last year and then never did. And they still haven't, nor is next patch doing it. The meta will change in the sense that, I don't know, it's hard to explain without saying what it is. Even if when saying what it is, it's kind of hard to explain. Because it's rather complicated how it changes the meta. It's not really something I can explain until it's public. Because even with the information in front of, like, your eyes, it can be slightly confusing as well. In the sense of how it would change the meta. Because it's not really straightforward how it would. Once you see it, it's really obvious that it would. But, the dynamic that it causes is rather weird. Compared to the current state of the game. Or at least weird in a different way. Not weird necessarily in a bad way. But it definitely changes up some areas of the game in rather interesting ways that we haven't seen yet in the game. Yeah, we did try getting them to make higher class battles, give more EXP. But because so many people were farming them, and because they saw that so many people are going to do them anyways because of the tokens, they ended up never buffing them. They said they were going to consider it, and it never did. And then eventually said that they won't. But, yeah, it's kind of weird that it still only gives 1 EXP. They made their trophy count go up, but they never at any point made the EXP that you get for it go up. Which makes, farming on PvP much better, since you can still get the one-shots like you're doing Explore 2 or 3, but get 2 XP per kill, or per win rather than 1. Should you be saving any resource for 5.0? No. Pretty much just the normal resources of hoarding gold, gems, stuff like that. But, no. No real resources used for next patch. Technically gems, but the thing that you would use gems on, no one's really going to be using it on. And you'll know what I mean when you see it. Like, the thing that you would use it on is almost the equivalent of buying class XP in a way. Where you can easily just manually grind it for a much better efficiency, cost efficiency, to the point that almost no one would ever do it. That's basically the equivalence of what's happening with the one technical gem sink that's being added next patch. It's just so inefficient to actually put gems into that most people are just going to do it by normal means. Whatever happened to that one Tacet Dragon Troop? I'm not sure. It's mostly due to copyright reasons that, I don't know, it kind of just fell through. I never really followed up much on them with them. But it's also why they've never had any like crossovers or anything with the game. They're in a weird dynamic where they technically don't own the assets of the game in a way. I don't know exactly what the whole ordeal is, but they can't even sell like merchandise or stuff without going through like 505 and everything. So it's like a whole complicated process, and they've never really added a way to add other intellectual properties to the game yet. If they ever wanted to do crossovers or anything else with any other company or anything related to that. And for that reason, it just never really went through. It could eventually happen, though. But basically the reason why Tacet isn't in the game is almost the same reason why there's no merchandise for the game, or no official merchandise. Mostly has to do with copyright and other various issues with it. Hello, Raccoon. All possible pure factions without Tuesday events, 100 to 150 horde. Yes, theoretically. Theoretically, every single faction is actually doable at 100, though not as realistic. But you can pretty consistently do, with enough tries, get every single kingdom done with level 200 with 50% bonus. Like, there's no faction in the game where level 200 with 50% bonus would be impossible. People have done, I think, almost every faction as well at 100 with no bonus. However, that takes an absurd amount of luck. But like 200 with 50% or even 150 with 50% can be done with every faction with enough luck. The only problem is you still need some amount of luck. And it could take multiple weeks of attempts to try to get it. What should you spend your glory on? You've been buying the 400 pack. Generally, yes. Whatever the glory pack is every single week is the thing that's worth going for. One other thing that's pretty worth it is... Oh gosh, I keep forgetting every single time we go out of this menu. It's going to lag like crazy. It's easier just closing the program and starting it back up. There we go. What was I just about to go show? Oh yeah, the other thing to use glory on. Oh, and we got tribute, nice. And we get to see how much time we have on pet, 12 minutes. Oh yeah, I didn't even buy it this week. So Spoils of War. This is underneath resources. You can only buy it once per week up to 10 times. This is the other thing you should be spending pretty much every single week. It's 1,800 glory, or it's 180 each. 1,800 if you want to buy all 10. And this is really good value, mostly for the event keys. However, in early game, the treasure maps are actually pretty good as well. But you end up getting 10 event keys, 5,000 gold, 1,000 souls, and 20 treasure maps for only 1,800 glory. This is worth doing every single week throughout the entire duration of the game, even if you're still really early game, just because this is a really cheap way to obtain event keys, and you can only have a limit of 10 per week, so you should be getting every single week. Yeah, it's really good value. And yeah, there's just that pack there. The other thing that you throw them on, of course, is whatever the glory trip is for the week. Normally, just buy it to max, which is whatever you need. Normally, if you just click this up a couple times, it'll go to whatever the actual ascension is that you need for it. Obviously, it's just going to 200 right now because I already have it maxed. But generally, you don't need to max every single time. But if it's a trait stone that you really need or a miner that you really need, you can put up the number quite a bit to an amount that you might want to go and just accumulate real quick. Obviously, this can cost quite a bit of glory. But it's those are pretty much the two things that you tend to throw glory in: the Spoils of War that we already just got, and the weekly event troop, at least to some amount of copies. But those are pretty much the two main things you ever spend glory on. The only other thing that you really would spend glory on is 50 bulks of glory keys. These are really good for obtaining mythics, if you want to save them for mythics, as well as just getting a bunch of troops in general. But that's pretty much the three things you throw glory on, with highest priority going to some amount of the weekly glory troop, then 10 Spoils of War, then possibly slightly more of whatever the weekly troop is, and then lastly priority would be the spending them for keys. Keys are still pretty good value for them though. Like, there's almost no wrong way to spend glory. The only two wrong ways would be converting them into souls, and I guess overly converting them into maps. So converting them into some amount of maps is worth it, but obviously only convert them into enough maps that you're actually going to use. They can convert them into 200 maps for only 6,000 glory within seconds. But obviously don't keep doing that over and over again unless you actually plan on using the maps. Because I'm sitting on like 21,000 maps right now. Not because we bought them, but because, you know, we've just gotten them from other means over time. Will the devs ever stop introducing new Doom weapons? Possibly, yes. When they will stop, if they will stop, we don't know. But, yes, there's a possibility they would stop adding Doom weapons to the game. We'll find out if they add another cycle. If they add another cycle after this, then they're probably never going to stop. However, there's a chance that this current cycle of Doom weapons might be the last Doom cycle ever. But I don't think that has been confirmed anywhere yet, if it will or will not be. That's why I've still been holding on to my scrolls just in case. Yeah, Doom events actually will be happening slightly less often as of next patch. How frequent, I won't mention. But they will definitely be less frequent than they are now. Which kind of makes me think this might be the last cycle they ever do for them. Which would somewhat make sense, because then people can actually start maxing them. In the current state of the game, almost no one in the entire game, possibly even literally no one, has every single Doom weapon maxed. Just because the amount of resources you would have to throw in order to do so is absurdly high. I think you have to throw like 5,000 to 8,000 gems per Tower of Doom event to currently have every Doom weapon max that has ever existed. And that's also assuming you've played every single Doom event, which realistically no one really has the resources to do, or barely anyone. But yeah, there's a good possibility literally 0 people have every Doom weapon maxed. There might be people that have a lot of them maxed, but I don't think anyone might have all of them maxed. Unless they really sunk a lot of resources into it. Is there going to be a sync for a Medal of Seasons? There already is. You can upgrade your troops with them. You can use them just like you use normal epic medals. That is their sync. Their sync is upgrading epic troops. If you already have all the epics max somehow, then you can use them for legend first levels. But that's probably their intended sync for them, because they function the exact same as epic medals for ascending, or for, you know, the post level 20 leveling for elite levels. Hey, speaking of maps, we got a free map to join our collection of like 20-something thousand other maps. I probably could take in that battle. I'm not gonna risk it though. Back to me. Oh. Yeah, level 95. And we'll hand out code at 96, as I mentioned earlier. I'm actually surprised. We got this at a pretty quick rate. I keep underestimating how quick PvP XP rate actually is. It is pretty solid. Oh, the back-to-back gnomes, nice. Can you actually drop a Volkey or 1,000 glory? That would be even nicer. Hey, 1,000 glory, nice. That's what we want to see. A 626 with that low stats? That's kind of surprising. Let's be power leveling a bit. He has almost no kingdom upgrades there. For how high the level is. Oh, he got a really good early game troop. What's his name? Zephyrus, while it's almost useless in almost any point in the game, if you happen to get... It's a little bit hard to get him when he's actually useful. But if you get him prior to like level 200, he's one of the best troops in the entire game. The only problem is because he's epic rarity, a lot of people at the level range where he's actually absurdly good don't actually own him. I think one of my accounts ended up getting at a low level range, but he's absurdly good below level 200. And technically, possibly even below 500, but definitely below 200. He has a 10 times boost ratio per gem destroyed, which is really, really good value on yellow gem destroyed. Yeah, 50 glory keys for one single gnome is pretty good. Yeah, and Cedric can drop 250 gem drop. Not diamond, but gems. His diamond drop is 50 diamond drop. His gem drop is 250. Yeah, we got the 250 gem drop from him earlier. Not this stream, but the other day. A day or two ago. We got it from our World Lord, not World Lord, the what's the event week? Tower of Doom. We got it from Tower of Doom, Volkey. We got the 250 gem drop from. I think we've gotten it about 5 times so far. Yeah, it's a pretty hefty amount for sure. It's enough to pretty much complete out an entire event, like raids or invasions or something like that. Just with a single drop. It's at least a couple hours worth of gems in a single drop. It's obviously pretty rare though. Oh, it seems almost as common as the 100 gem drop. Like I feel like I get the 100 gem drop and the 250 gem drop at the exact same rate. Is there a trick to have so many low teams showing up on refresh? You need to have a really low PvP rating. You need to be like tier 15 or tier 14 PvP. Around like 500 to 600 rating or so. We're currently at tier 14 with 600 something rating. And if you're that low and still find you're getting high battles, go up or down in rating until you're in a different tier. And if that doesn't work, also change your defend team and see if that helps. Because all those factors can determine what you're up against. But probably the easiest, or the biggest manipulating one being the current bracket that you're in. Or not the bracket, but you know, like the tier thing that it shows. This thing over here. What this number is and what this number is. Are probably the two most important things for determining what you get matched up against. There are many other factors, but those two have pretty much the biggest influence on what you get matched with. As far as things that you can actually manipulate anyways. Yeah, getting tier 1 on Monday gives you more glory overall. So it's still a pretty good idea to do. But if you're planning on doing this farming method, you normally want to wait all the way till Sunday to do it. Get tier 1. if you plan on doing this farming method at any point on a given week. So you can still max it out, you just have to wait till later in the week. You'd get slightly less glory for doing so, but it'll allow you to do this method. You could theoretically backtrack your points, but the amount of time it would take you to go from like 2k rating all the way down to like 500 is so time consuming that's not really worth it. Because you'd have to lose a lot of times to lose that much rating. Especially since you tend to lose a pretty small amount of rating each time. I think I only lose like 10 rating if I lose, or something like that. So yeah, I would have to lose an absurd amount of time to actually get my rating down. Like, you'd have to lose, how many is that, 150 times? Yeah, you'd have to lose 150 times if you had like 2k rating to get back down to 500 or so. Which would be very time consuming to do. That would take like half an hour to an hour. Which I guess if you were planning on farming for an absurdly high amount of time, that could maybe be worth it. It's still a lot of time to invest into getting literally no resources while playing the game. Especially during a gnome event. You might as well just farm explore at that point. There's by no means a guaranteed chance to get weak battles. Like, even now we're getting a lot of hard battles. Come on, where's the easy ones? Maybe we need to change our rating, gosh. Or maybe it changed our rating with that win we just got. What do you mean as far as random is what you get at the end of battle? Do you mean from the gnome or from the battle itself? Yes, the trait stone is completely random. The ingot is completely random. The gold is predetermined though. You can actually guesstimate what your gold will be every single time, if you know what your bonus is. And souls are consistent, EXP is consistent. Like, the things that are consistent is that number, this number. This number can be determined, but you'd have to do some maths. This number, this number, this number. The only two that are really random are the ones all the way over here, actually. The two that show up all the way to the right. The trait stone that you get and the ingot that you get. Every other factor is pretty much predetermined. And gold is technically slightly random, but you can determine what it is simply by looking at the battle and applying your bonuses to it. Because for that we got like 1097. Like, for example, we have a 472 here, and we know that we have about 100. Actually, gosh, what is my bonus right now? It's like 100 something. Let's just say 200%. So we can kind of guesstimate that we're about to get, I believe, 1.1 gold or 1,100 gold for this battle or so. So I did just do gnome, so that little bit extra gold into that is probably close to 1,200, I believe. Is about how much gold we get for this battle. So you can kind of guesstimate it. Let's see. Yeah, and as you can see, it's 1,306. That was mostly because we casted a gnome a bit more, which ended up making our gold go a little bit higher. But aside from that, you could pretty much just guesstimate what the number is based on the starting gold. Like, this one's going to be closer to 1,100, especially if we only get one gnome cast. And as you can see, it's 1,100. But you can guesstimate it. You just have to do really quick math with percents. It's realistically not worth trying to guesstimate. You can kind of just guess what your average will be every single time based on your bonus. Like, on average, we're going to be getting like 1,200 per battle from these battles. But yeah, that's generally what they were going to average to. Give or take a little bit. Because that's what around 400 something ends up doing. Come on, where's our full mana? Oh gosh, a really bad board. Oh, I'll take this battle. Looks like we can still kill it out. The gnome you get is completely random. However, pet gnomes can only be found in PvP and arena. Besides from that, they're just completely random and evenly balanced. But it is impossible to get a pet gnome in any location other than PvP and arena. Though pet gnomes are only useful if your guild currently doesn't have a pet active. Did the devs ruin the counter to looping by introducing a troop that loops that can't be frozen? Not necessarily. Because you can simply just stun it, and it hard counters it pretty well. A Beatrix that is stunned is pretty useless. At least from a stopping extra turn, or, you know, stopping freeze perspective. Especially if the team is depending on it as its only method. With no insulated or anything else like that. Like no imperviouses. Like stun against a Beatrix team that has 0 impervious is super strong. Like if you do an Obsidious stun into against a Beatrix team. Honestly, that's probably one of those most viable options right now. Is or one of the things that he counters harder than anything else is gosh, what's it called? Obsidious with Frost Mage against Beatrix is very strong if the enemy has 0 imperviouses. Do you get gnomes in Tower of what? TOW. What's TOW? Do you mean Tower of Doom? No. Gnomes do not appear in any guild events. They do not appear in delves. They do not appear in arena. I mean, sorry, they do appear in arena. They don't appear in... Here's the list. It's the locations they do not appear in are delves, whatever the guild-related event is for the week. So in this case, Tower of Doom. Pet battles, oddly enough. Dungeons. And I believe that is it. Those are the only locations they do not appear. I don't think I missed any. But if you're going in any other location, they should appear. Other than those. With the most viable methods being casual PvP 1 spam, or 1 trophy spam the very first battle with repicks, just so you get really weak ones, or explore 2 or 3. Those are the quickest kill methods. Also, if you haven't done every quest line yet, doing quest lines is also a really good method for it too. They do appear on quest lines. They also appear on challenges, oddly enough. But challenges start to get too high, too quick kill after like the first 2 sets. Also, I just realized we gained a level, didn't we? I kind of noticed that as I was talking. But, yeah, we did gain level 96. We need to go hand out the redeem code then. We'll do it after this battle. And then we'll hand another one out later tonight. Probably when we actually hit 100. Alright, let me go hand out a code. We're still going to be streaming for now, though. I want to go get 98 on this. And then I also want to go get probably some more, some Diabolus XP in. What am I looking for? I'm looking for code section. Where's the one I just handed out? There it is. Hand out this one. Copy, copy. Paste, paste. Put that right into here. Refresh it so I can go put this over here. Put that right over there. Copy the whole thing. And here it go. Oops, I just messed that up. Fail. Click copy, not paste. Keys are right next to each other. Where's my chat? There it is. Alright, there you guys go. There's the redeem code used on gemsofwar.com or the game code section. Your invite code can be found in your settings menu, whatever your game says in the bottom left corner settings menu. Redeem code is right over there in chats. Copy paste the random numbers and letters, starting with MQ. And give same reward as always, 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. That's what that one mail just was. We got our resources. It only works on PC mobile version of the game, of course. Enjoy, everyone. And that's our second code for the stream, as well as our last one. But we'll probably hand out 2 more again tomorrow afternoon stream, because we'll be doing the exact same thing pretty much tomorrow, but for Oracle. And then into a little bit more Diabolus, and then we finish out Diabolus tomorrow night. I mean, Sunday night. And tonight we'll finish out Slayer and have another redeem code then. And of course we stream every night at 8 PM Eastern Standard Time, which is 6 hours from now tonight. And we'll probably hand out the code tonight when we actually hit 100 on it. Which we're getting really close to, 96 right now. Yep, no problem, everyone. Ugh. But I definitely want to get at least 98 Slayer right now. That's the minimum before we end out the stream. And I might go a little bit into Diabolus. That or we'll save it a little bit more for tomorrow. We'll see. I'd rather save it for the nightly streams. That or do it all on Sunday now. That'd be too much to throw all on a Sunday night. Or would it? I don't know. It would only take us like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. It's not too bad. But I'd want to have some of that in. Get to bed at a decent time on Sunday night. Otherwise we'd be streaming to almost midnight. Yeah, definitely feel free to leave a like on the stream. Helps out a lot, as Bill mentioned. The ad revenue still hasn't completely recovered from the coronavirus thing. Advertisers are still being weird. Because a lot of them aren't advertising as much as they were in the past, which means less competition, which means less money per ad. But this has been repairing over time. But the virus is still going to be around for a while. Could still be like another year. So my mom might finally be out of unemployment soon too, which will be pretty cool. She has been for a while now, because her job is based almost completely on tourism. But it looks like they're starting to get work again slowly. So she might be going back soon. The only problem with that is she'll be making like a lot less than what unemployment would give. Because her job won't have as much work, while also making less from not having unemployment anymore. So she'll both have to work and make less money. It's kind of weird. It's honestly why I support UBI much more than like unemployment and other similar things. Universal basic income would just work so much better if it was unconditional. Because a lot of safety net stuff almost discourages you from working in a way. Just because you would literally make more from not working in some instances. Which more so just goes to show how underpaid most jobs are. If you could literally make more not working than working. Nope, that's not the direction I wanted. Hey, we did get Sky Skull. Always gotta try for them. You never know when you're gonna get it, but when you do, it helps speed things along. Eight hours into grinding gnomes. How many have you gotten so far? Volkies, that is. Aw, that was a miss. I'm not even taking an extra turn. I saw it on the very first turn, but I was like, oh, I'm not going to take it. 6 Volkies? Nice. I'm hoping to find at least one more this stream. We're at 2 right now, of course. Yeah, I'm still currently slightly below 1 per hour. I'm pretty much at the drop rate. I normally say drop rate's 1 every 90 minutes on average. And my current rate seems to be around there. If you're getting 1 or more per hour, you're getting a pretty good rate. Anything less than that's, or you know, about 1 in 90 I feel like is average. Anything below 1 in 90 minutes I feel like is below average as far as luck. So basically anything under an hour is lucky. Anything around 90 minutes is average, and anything above 2 hours is unlucky. Is basically how I look at it. I'm not sure how correct that is, the actual statistical data of the thing. But from my experience, that seems to be about the drop rate. Gosh, 12 hours. That means you played it literally since it started. If you've been going for 12 hours, nice. Actually, it hasn't even gone for 12 hours yet. Almost 12 hours. In like several minutes it will be. Oh, never mind. You said 10 hours, not 12 hours. Okay, that makes sense. I was going to say. Yeah, that makes more sense then. I thought you said you got 10 and 12, not 12 and 10. Can Chief Stronghorn ever become a 1-kill troop? Yes. Yasmin's Pride is the most viable way to do so. You can actually use them kind of like a Ketris that doesn't have adjacent damage for Tower of Doom. For brown and blue Tower of Doom. Obviously, that's not applicable for this color Tower of Doom. But he can be used for that purpose. He's not the best option, but he is a option. I have done it once, I believe, for Tower of Doom. Maybe twice. But he does technically work. And I've showed him as options for people that like don't have Ketris during those weeks. For people that still kind of want to go the build but don't have Ketris. Because he's a lot easier to obtain being a legend rather than a mythic. There's also an event key drop table this week. Both of them are. Ketris and Chief Stronghorn. I wouldn't really advise using him that often, though, unless you just really lack other options. Because obviously Ketris is better and stuff, but he's not bad. Because he can reach one-shots pretty much the same way that Ketris can reach one-shot. The only problem is he doesn't get the adjacent damage, which is his biggest downside compared to Ketris. However, he does have the upside of having a lower mana cost. I don't know, I never really bothered using Ketris and Ubistet together. You could. Normally, it's better just to double Ketris cast. Which you could do with single Ketris, of course, too. Rather than double. But you can use the half adjacent damage to bring something into kill range for Ubistet. Assuming that that does bring it into kill range, it'd be perfectly fine to follow up with Ubistet. The most ideal situation for that kind of build would be you throw Ketris on second slot, you take a skull and kill out their first slot, and then you cast Ubistet and kill. If you're in a battle where that will work in that exact order, it would probably be worth it. If you're doing any battle where that strategy will not work, it is probably not worth using. But if you can do a battle where second slot Ketris, into one skull kills first slot, into Ubistet kills the other two, that is the situation in which that team would be viable. So if whatever battle you're doing allows you to do that, then that team would be viable. If that's not possible, then the team would be less viable than other options. Also, what on earth is 3 troops? What are you doing? It's not even a full team. Chipping me on EXP. Luckily, we still get the same amount of class XP, just less hero XP. The team you mentioned would be fine, yes. Is it true that there will be a new game mode next patch? No, kind of. Question mark? It's hard to explain. No question mark is my answer. You understand what I mean when next patch comes out. But no question mark is definitely my answer. Oh, this year? Well, Arena and Treasure Hunt we know is getting revamped later this year. And while that's not a new game mode, depending on how they revamp it, it might feel like a new game mode. And next patch will be adding a thing. Though calling it a game mode is... I'm not sure if you'd call it a game mode or not. Both isn't. Oh, why'd I do this? Gosh. Well, I guess to check the pet, but now I need to go close the game and restart it. Hopefully we have Tribute ready to go. Good old lag from controller. I feel like controller makes it lag even more. Okay, let's see. What do we have here? Oh, we still need copies of this thing. Hey, we finally found a pet that we actually need. Oh, good. We can actually go run this with Daedalus, too. Hey, we can get some Daedalus EXP in. Said I wanted to get some. Perfect timing. Let's go get that level 91 class. So actually, we won't be able to go all the way to 91, but we'll roll with this. Let me cast. Is it fun to do? Depends what you define as fun. I personally would get enjoyment out of it. You don't see the code? We posted it right here. It might already be used up by now, though. But that's the code. I'm not sure if it's still usable, though. They get used up pretty quick. I just forgot. We need to set them to magic if we want to get this done quicker. Gotta make the magic switch. Otherwise, we're not gonna have enough damage. Oh gosh, we already don't have enough damage. I'm gonna go change the magic so we can actually kill. Otherwise, we won't have enough for the next 2 battles. I'll throw that down. Will game code be revamped? Probably not. Can I donate some gold to our tasks for the guild? Sure, I can go do so. Let me just finish out the pet. Is 5.0 pay to win? There's one slight aspect that could be considered slightly if they don't tweak it, which we've been trying to get them to tweak. Aside from that, no. But there is one really specific aspect that could be. Also, this battle's gonna be slow. I didn't switch over to Sun Spear. And I just wasted Leprechaun. I didn't waste it, but you know, we not the most strategic time to use it. Give me my damage already. No! He just got a full resummon. At least he's gotta die to burn. Now I have to go re-kill this thing all over again. The struggle. There we go. Please kill. Good. Oh, yeah, we've been trying to get them to change it. I'm not sure if they actually have yet. But I hope they did. There we go. Okay, let's go throw it into some tasks. There's our thing. Let's see, how much more gold do we still need for the guild? How much have my guild been slacking this week? Let's see, how much have I even donated? Oh, I've donated 0. Ah. Well then. Whoops. That would explain why I have so much gold right now. There we go. Maybe not that much. Oh yeah, we'll go that much. I'm gonna finish out the whole task. 2.7 million. Here we go, guild. Now do the rest. We did 2.7 million. Who hasn't done their gold yet? We have 1 person, 2 people, 3 people. Also, we might kick Osmond soon. He's been doing bare minimum, and he normally gets it done like all the way on the final day. I'm sorry, Osmond, but we're probably gonna have to do it. That or actually, we'll probably change to 1.5 million first. And if he's falling behind on 1.5 million, he's just getting kicked. But if you can do 1.5 million by like Sunday every single time, it's not necessarily bad. Okay, we already did that. Too bad we can't get 3 more copies though to get that thing maxed. Anyways, let's go back to the grind. And we'll easily be able to make all that gold back from PvP. What are the top 5 red legendary troops in epics? Epic would be things like Gargoyle, Harpy Mage, I was just thinking of another one or two. It's Gargoyle, Harpy Mage, both are actually faction ones as well. Ragnagor, actually Ragnagor's not that meta these days. It's because Mount Crusher's like completely taken over. Oh yeah, Marilith was the one I was thinking of. Marilith, Harpy Mage, Gargoyle. I'm trying to think of 2 more. Oh, the 2 Empower troops that convert to skulls would probably be the other 2. There's 2 red troops that both convert to skulls. Both of those with Empower are pretty good. As far as legendary, it'd be Mirage Queen, Tesla, Dragon Soul, possibly, if you count head's value for soul farming. Yaogwei and Queen Titania. Also, I didn't mention Quillen, which works really good in Divine Spell of Quillen. I'd probably place him more under the yellow category than a red category. Divinia's yellow and purple. Quillen is the one that has red in it. Quillen standalone isn't that good though. Like when you can't use him with Divine Ball or Quillen combo, he's not as good. He's not bad, but like if you're gonna use him, you're using it with Divine Ball or Quillen. Like very rarely do you just put a Quillen in a team without Divine Spalla. Which means on a red day you can't really use him as well. He even starts with a Yellow Storm. Which obviously fits a yellow team much more than a red. Because while troops can still be good under a color, they might not be as good underneath their pure color. And Quillen is one of those examples. Quillen is a really good troop, but he's not that good with the red troops. Oh, my bad, Divinia. I thought you said Diviner Spotlight, my bad. Yeah, Divinia is a pretty good red troop. It has one of the better cleanses while also having an HP gain. And a full board clear. Or not full board clear, but pretty much a full board clear. Rowan wouldn't be under that category. The person asked for just reds. Hey, epicking gets nice. Though most of the ones we just mentioned don't necessarily work for Tower of Doom, if that's what you're looking for. Because troops are good in different locations. And something like Yagway, while he's one of the better red troops in the entire game, he's really bad for something like Tower of Doom. That's because the way that he scales is not good for Tower of Doom. He's really good at fighting things around your stats or slightly above your stats. He's not good at fighting things massively above your stats. Which is what most of the later part of Tower of Doom is. I almost feel like making a video on every category of troop. Because there's quite a few categories that the game technically doesn't ever explain. Because the categories they have aren't really realistic for anything, other than what stat bonus they end up getting. The main categories are pretty much tanks, things that are really good with skulls, mana accumulators, and also they can have overlap with multiple. Things that do really high spell damage, and upscaling troops. And I believe that's pretty much all the main categories. And upscaling is actually probably one of the most important ones in the current state of the game. Just because a lot of new features, particularly last year, were all based around upscaling. And these are pretty much troops that have the capability to scale based on enemy stats. Or a way to boost based on their own stat that can then use another troop or weapon to scale up their stats. Like, for example, like Earth's Fury or Yasmin's Pride. Things that scale based on enemy stats that give you stats that then can scale something that is boosted based on stats. Also, technically, most stats effects upscale, like Entangle, Web, Barrier, Submerge, stuff like that. In the sense that regardless of how high their number is, they still will do something against it. Oh, and Mana Drain. Entangle and Mana Drain in particular being extremely good at upscaling. Since something with 1,000 attack that's entangled will do 0. And something that's about to one-shot you with an ability that is mana drained will also do 0. And of course Barrier. Because if they're only hitting you once, it'll also do 0. Regardless of how high they're going to do it. Or, you know, it doesn't matter what their number is, it'll just do 0. Which is pretty convenient. If anyone has any other questions, let me know. Because we are getting very close to level 98. So I might still go into a little bit into Diabolus after. Oh, what else we want here? Get our explosion. Grab our split and dead. Hey, it looks like we're about to gain another level. We'll definitely make sure to gain at least one more full hero level then. We'll probably gain the class level prior, but we'll get the hero level as well. Actually, that would probably be a good stopping point for now. And then we'll finish out the rest of our grinding tonight, where we'll go get a level 100 Slayer as well as the Obelisk XP. Okay, we'll go until it's 1557 for the hero level. Getting kind of close to 1600. Soon, TM. Yeah, it's theoretically possible that we can gain a level every single day. We'd have to play for a lot more than we currently do, though. But today I would have soloed an entire level. Even more than an entire level, actually. Any idea what next month's new Vault Troop is? We're getting a new Vault Troop next month? Are we? We haven't gotten a new Vault Troop in ages. Mechanome was the most recent new Vault Troop. Yeah, let's go for Explosion there. 1 mana short, luckily his mana is sitting there. Should be enough. Given that War has low durability. Even if he has... Oh, and it got replaced anyways with a Gnome. That's one nice thing about fighting lower level players too, is most of our Gnomes are at common with no upgrades whatsoever. Hey, 4 gem keys, nice. Only 2 Vault keys so far. A fake gnome. Keep in mind, if you ever see a gnome in the thumbnail, it's not actually a real gnome. The gnome doesn't get determined until you do the battle. You can never see the gnome prior to the battle. Anytime you ever see a gnome in a battle, it's a fake gnome. It's just one of those player-owned gnomes that they got from a vault key. What do people mean by the new Zugaf in 5.0? I'm not quite sure. I haven't looked at it yet. Though, apparently we're getting another troop. I haven't really looked at it because it might be spoiler-related. But we might go over it soon. I know we're getting a really good new Mythic next month. I don't think that's the one people are referring to, though. I might just quite literally be getting another Zugaf, which they have made mention that we're probably going to get at some point. And there's a change happening next patch that would allow them to add another Zugaf and multiple more Zugafs into the future. What exactly they'll cost, we'll have to see. But, there's a possibility we will start seeing more troops that are of similarness to Zugaf in rarity. There is even mention that they might do pets that way too, like super ultra rare pets. There was once mentioned that for very, very high renown, they would end up giving one of these options, like some kind of troop that would only be exclusive to ultra high renown or some kind of pet or some kind of something. They have yet to do this. However, once we start getting closer to like 30 factions in the game, they might go release something for it. And as of the next patch, they'll be able to do so. So I'm kind of curious if they will do something for 30 full factions, or maybe even 25. And then doing it again for, who knows, maybe like 35 if they ever add another kingdom to the game. Will it cost power orbs? We don't know for sure. But it is possible that another troop will eventually exist that will cost power orbs. They have made mention that it could happen. They never ruled it out. If that was to happen, I don't think I actually can afford another Zugaf. I have, I can make several power orbs right now, but not enough to craft a Zugaf. Let me see. How many can I actually make right now? Let me go check. I'll wait till it loads. Oh. If something was to cost how much a Zugaf does, let's see how much. Okay, it's not responding. I'll give it 10 seconds. Maybe a little longer. Doesn't get it by then, we'll force it the other way. Come on, game. Why I gotta be like this? Fine, I'll just force it. It's normally quicker just doing that anyways. Immediately, rather than waiting it out. It's kind of weird how that is. Where it can freeze sometimes. And literally just restarting the game is quicker than waiting for it to load. Okay, anyways, what was I doing? I came here for a reason. Oh yeah, I came to see how many power orbs we could create. How many power orbs can I create? Let's see. So was it 4 small blues for a big blue? How much was it again? Let me double check. I think it was 4 smalls make a big. Yeah, 4 smalls make a big, and then 3 of those make a power. Okay, so let's break that down then. So that means we can make 3 more of those. That's 10. That's 3. I'm only halfway. I'm a little less than halfway to a Zugoff, though we do have 200 vault keys, so if we opened all those, we'd probably be a lot closer. But as it currently stands, I only have enough to make 3 power orbs and 1/3. I have 3 and 1/3 a power orb. If a new Zugoff was to instantly exist for the exact same cost of current Zugoff. So I have slightly less than half. However, if we opened every vault key we had, we'd be pretty close to all the way there. Because 200 vault keys is almost enough for a Zugoff in itself, if we get lucky enough on blues. So yeah, we'd probably be fine if another one was to come for the exact cost of Zugoff. It would just probably mean we'd have to throw our vault keys before vault keys ever got a rework, which is not ideal, but if it means we get the Zugoff early, or you know, when it actually comes out, then it's probably worth it, or new Zugoff. But I'm not sure if it's been confirmed if we do get a new Zugoff, if it will cost the same loot, or if it'll be slightly cheaper, or if it'll be some other kind of resource. Please be diamonds. Please, add a trip that costs like 50,000 diamonds. No, obviously that would be too absurd for most people. I can afford it, though. We're at like 70,000 diamonds with nothing to use diamonds on. Come on, a 40,000 diamond mythic. 10 times more than a normal mythic. Go. Anyways, let's go get this last level. Or not the last level, but the last level for now. Let's see. How much more XP do we need? I feel like we're right on top of it. No, I actually still have a bit of a gap. Still need about 20 battles or so. What was that? 22 battles. And by then, we'll definitely get our level that we need. For our class as well. Or for our hero, I mean. Where are all those easy battles at? That's good enough. Do you have a video on troop synergy with a chosen class when building a team? Kind of. We've covered a class video for pretty much every class in the game. So if you just look up a certain hero class on my channel, you would end up seeing teams for it. The only problem with this is some of them are a little dated. While I do go over teams for every single one, some of them are from like a year or two ago. They're still mostly relevant, but they might not be the most meta options in the game. But we have technically covered it for essentially every hero class in the game. Is gnomes and vaults during the event are also more likely to drop another vault key? There was mention that there kind of was in the past. However, it seems like they're so much drastically lower just in general in vault keys that it almost doesn't matter. But yes, it is still possible to gain vault keys within vault keys. But the rate of doing so is pretty low. Like, I've only ever happened twice or 3 times now. I can't even remember. I'm starting to lose track. I've only ever seen it a couple times. But it is definitely possible to get a vault key in a vault key. If it's higher during a gnome event, there was mention that it kind of was in the past. However, the rate is so low that I don't think it really matters. If it even is any higher. Because it doesn't seem to realistically have any higher effect. So for the most part, no. You could pretty much just open your vault keys whenever. Like, for example, if we were to get a new Zugaf that costs how much Zugaf costs, I would probably open the vault keys the second it was added to the game. Regardless if it was Vault Event or not. This team might be slightly too strong, but it's a level 88, which makes me think we can one-shot it. Oh, there's our level. Nice. So Spadenta Brown, I guess. Get our defeats, which hopefully brings us to weaker battles. If it brought us back to tier 15, I would assume so. Might have been a possibility that we moved back to tier 14, which might have been why we got stronger battles. That might actually be the case, because we just lost and now we're 583. So we might have just been higher before. And now we get weaker battles again. It's kind of weird how that is. It's really finicky. Yeah, we're getting easier battles now again. So that might have just been it. We accidentally went higher from one of our defend wins. And then one of our defend losses made us go lower. And then it changed up what kind of teams we got for the better. It's kind of weird. Yeah, now we're definitely getting weaker enemies. Ooh, Volky. You know you want to. Drop me that third Volky. Please. You know you want to. Volky, go. Nope, 5 gems. Not a bad drop. Definitely not one of the better ones, but I'll take it. How do you rate Algorek the Slayer? Does he already exist? I don't recall that troop at all. Is that the next mythic that's coming? I don't recall his name. I recall his mechanic. Is that the name of the next mythic? He's one of the top 5 mythics in the game, most likely, if they don't change it between now and then. I'm pretty sure that's the name of next mythic. But yeah, that's the one coming in at early July. He's going to be probably one of the top 5 strongest troops in the game. Next mythic is insanely good. Hey, Volky from a pet gnome. So this is what I was saying earlier. Whenever you get a pet gnome drop, you actually still get the drop and the Volky. It is the only gnome in the game where getting a Volky does not actually stop the normal drop. I wish every gnome was like this. But it is the only gnome in the game where you still get the Volky and the normal drop. And if we got a pet, it would be a Volky, 1 white pet food, and a pet drop. And that's the reason why he still gives his normal drop. Because they need to make sure he always drops a pet, assuming he can. Anyways, let me go change the number. Nice. So we have 3 Volkies. Oh yeah, let me go open the Volky too. Maybe we'll finally get our mech gnome. There we go, 3 Volkies. Success. Algorek the Slayer? Why can I not remember who that is then? Who's Algorek the Slayer? Also, why'd I go out here? We could just done it the other way. Oh, I haven't done enough battles that it shouldn't lag that bad. Plus, we need to go do the Volky anyways. And take our tribute. Nice. Let me grab that tribute. 17. Very nice. Grab whatever's here. That's our level up bonus. Good. Okay. What was I checking? Algorek the Slayer? Why do I not remember him? Slayer. Algorek the Slayer. Oh, this thing. No, he's not really that viable. Like, the amount of poison you would need just for him to be okay is pretty high. And unless we start getting a lot of boss troops, we won't really be seeing the introduction of boss troops into the meta. If we start to get a lot of Zugofs, we might. Or, you know, if we start getting a lot of Zugaf-like troops. But, as the game currently stands, I don't feel like it's going to be that viable. Also, if they are like Zugaf in that regard, they might all have Impervious, or at least something similar to that. So they're going to have immune to poison anyways, which will make him have less boost ratio. So overall, no, I don't really feel like this thing has much of a viability. There's other ones that gain better benefits as far as boss slayers, if we do end up needing boss slayers in the meta eventually. There's something else I came here for. Oh yes, Volky. We got another Volky. Let's go use it and get ourselves a mech gnome or something good. So what are our drops so far? So far today we've gotten 20 gem keys and 50,000 gold, or 60,000 I mean. Those were our 2 Cedric drops so far. Let's see what we get for our 3rd one. So we got 20 gem keys and 60,000 gold. First one being good, other one being not so good. Oh, we got a random orb. Please be blue or purple. Preferably blue. Ah, of course it's a green. So that Volky gave us nothing. Rip. That was off a pet gnome, so at least it gave us a drop rather than nothing. Oh, that's pretty much nothing. So far our first key was our only really good key. And we got it like literally immediately. Pretty funny. Is there a chance for our gnome to give different orbs? Normal gnome, no. Cedric, yes. Cedric can drop every minor orb and every major orb in the game. However, normal gnome does not drop it. Only Cedric and Volky does. Percent chance is pretty high as well. But only in Volky. Hello, Scandisk. Long time not seeing you since 2014. Oh gosh, it's been ages then. Let's see. And now one question. From where I can get the Life and Death weapon? Life and Death is obtained from Silver Necropolis. It is only obtained literally from one day whenever Silver Necropolis runs around. The current rotations for factions, I believe, has it months away, unfortunately. But, yeah, it appears whenever Silver Necropolis is the faction. Currently, the faction is, for next one is, oh gosh, what symbol is that? That's not Sea of Sorrows. It's not Sunken Fleets. Wait, what symbol is that? I actually completely forget now. Fail. What one is that? So next faction is... Oh! Next week. Never mind. You can get it on Tuesday. Remind yourself, set an alarm, do whatever. Next Tuesday. You can literally get Life and Death next week. Yeah, it's pretty big. Never mind. It's not a while away. It's literally like 3 days away or 4 days away. It's next Tuesday. However, you can only get it on next Tuesday. Otherwise, you won't be able to get it again until months. So you got pretty lucky. You got really lucky because normally it takes months for factions to roll around. However, yeah, Life and Death is right around the corner. I'll need to make sure to remind everyone on the weekly event video next week. But yeah, that's pretty huge. Life and Death is one of the best weapons in the game. But you can only ever obtain it for 1 day. Specifically on Tuesday of Silver Necropolis event. Which is in 3 days and 12 hours from now for 1 day. So yeah, that's right around the corner. Very soon, TM. And you buy it either in Soulforge or from the event for like a couple 100 gems. And there we go, Slayer level 98. Success. And that's technically as far as I wanted to go. So I think we might wrap up then. Grab a lunch dinner. Then I'll be back in like 5.5 hours then. So does anyone else have any closing questions then that you want to mention? Otherwise, we'll be back, as I mentioned, in 5.5 hours. And we'll be continuing to go get Slayer level 100. And we'll have another redeem code. And we'll start working on Daedalus, since we'll definitely have some time to go and do that for sure. As well as just all of our dailies and stuff like that. Hopefully get some good loots. We do have deeds off of dailies too. Don't forget to go get them. I think it was purple deeds too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, purple deeds, really valuable. Make sure to go get them. Don't forget to grab those and a few gems, but obviously the purple deeds being the bigger one. Purple deeds are very important to go upgrade the 4 purple magic kingdoms, which are Bladed Lands, Darkstone, Karkaroth, and Silverglade. Zolkari is also a magic, however it is a green magic. The other 4 are all purple magic, making purple the most valuable scroll in the game of the 6 deeds. So definitely make sure to go get that. Yeah, I'm coming back in 5 hours, or 5.5 hours. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 5.5 hours from now, regardless of what your time zone is. When you ran out of hero classes, maxing mine out? Haha. No, once we finish out hero classes, we'll be working on token farming. We'll probably be doing a lot of Explore 12 after what's it called? After we finish out our hero classes. We'll be doing Gems of War tonight, as we always do. Our next Animal Crossing stream probably won't be till, gosh, probably about a week or so from now. I'll be doing it 1 or 2 before the month ends up ending out. Probably closer to the end of the month. Hopefully around the time when we get spoilers for the following month as well. Because we currently don't know what's happening after this month in Animal Crossing. And they're going to announce it within like the next week. They should. And hopefully we'll get some kind of big update as well. I'll have to wait and see. What's my Explore 12 farm team? I'm probably going to be switching to Zugoff. I honestly want to try Zugoff level 100. It's a method I haven't been able to do for the obvious method of reason that we don't have Slayer 100 yet. We will tonight. But given that we're about to get Slayer 100, I kind of want to try a strategy with it that's actually pretty decent, that actually only Slayer hero class can do. It's kind of one of those things where like Hierophant can only work really well against Freeze. It's kind of like one of those mechanics that actually works really well for Explore 12 that I'll probably mess around with. We'll maybe even do it tonight, given that we'll have it maxed by tonight. But it does require level 100 hero or 100 Slayer to do. It is not possible without 100 Slayer. So I'll probably test it tonight since, well, obviously we'll be getting 100 Slayer then. So we'll see how that works, and it's a Zugoff team. Won't work with Sunspear. It doesn't work as well with Sunspear because one thing that makes it work really well is the fact that Slayer has Enrage on Death. And that Enrage, I believe, makes it enough damage where it actually is enough to kill. Whereas without Enrage, it's questionable if it will or will not work. It could probably be okay if you do it with Sunspear. But if I'm not mistaken, it's actually not as good. It's one of those situations where like it's decent, but it's not the most optimal hero class. And it's one of the things that Slayer is actually particularly good for, Zugoff Slayer. And it's a strategy I haven't really used. And while other Zugoff teams I have messed around with, it's a little bit different than other Zugoff teams. Well, it's still the same strategy, but its impact is quite a bit higher. So we'll mess around with that and see how it ends up going. What about Enrage on 4x match? Yeah, Warlord, I believe, works for that. And does a really similar aspect. But you don't always necessarily get it because of how Zugoff works. Because Zugoff, once it gets a kill, will automatically give you the Enrage. Whereas in the other instance, you need an extra turn. And while you're normally going to be hitting extra turn, you don't always end up hitting an extra turn from casting Zugoff. It's not like a guaranteed chance. But it's a pretty high chance, obviously, with how many skulls he creates. Anyways, guys, I'm going to be heading out for now. Let's see. We'll be back, as I mentioned, 5.5 hours from now. We'll have another redeem code. We'll finish out Slayer, and we'll go from there. And then we'll have the other 2 hero classes. Best of luck with the Vault event, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Leave a like if you enjoyed the stream, and I will catch all of you guys very, very soon. Enjoy your weekend. Goodbye, everyone. And don't forget Father's Day in 2 days as well. Goodbye, everyone. Also, I just realized, is my thing green screening? It's kind of funny. It's not actually green. But because of the reflection of the light, it's kind of giving like a green screen effect. That's funny. I didn't notice that till now.